Determination to conquer all my ambitions, despite all the conditions. In light of my past decisions, made it to this position, and so my disposition, not seeing no limits, killing the competition. Yeah, I'm a beast, now I'm released, ready to feast, calm and peace, not the least.
You always announce
What's going on, people? Welcome to the Next Podcast. It is Saturday. We are live. We have the panel on deck. As you can hear, the Don was already... I think this is going to turn into a crossfire thing. I think at least there's going to be somebody that's going to cut in front of me right before we go live. So this week it was the Don. So let's get into introductions, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So I guess it's time to, stand up. Show that respect. Kiss that ring, the Don.
Hey guys, well, I'm excited to do the podcast, even though I don't know what the topics are. So let's do this.
How do you not know?
I just posted them in the thing.
We have something called the DM.
There's a thing called reading that's required, and I didn't do any of that. I'll be honest.
just for the Don, I'm gonna have to come up with a movie on the topics because he doesn't like to read, and he'd rather watch the movie. I see how it's going right now.
But you know what? If you could do that, that'd be great.
Clip notes.
I'll get Martin Scorsese. Me and him will collaborate on something. Then this way you won't know what the hell's going on even after you watch the movie.
That's pretty much like what it is with the chat anyway. So it's not really any different. So
Yo, huge shout out to Michael. Yo, Michael, thank you for hitting up the super chat. I appreciate it. I think that's a record for us. Like how quick that happened, man.
We got through one intro.
Yeah, one intro. I think he did that so we can move on. So let's move on to the man.
Wait.
Hold on.
Can
No.
you super chat to skip a intro? We should do that. That's the thing.
Super chat to skip an intro. Huh. That's interesting. I like it. It's out the box, man. But, let's introduce the man with the most hated opinions on YouTube right now. He's coming live from the 405. It is my brother, K Mega.
If you have an opinion, make sure to wear a cup because they'll come at you from all angles, man. Look, man. Glad to be here as always. Man, it's going to be a good night. I'm going to have my rise-ish feel about things, and we'll have our rise-ish topics going on, and it should be a rise-ish great time. So let's get to it tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
So are you saying this might be the Rise-ish episode? I might have to change the title, man.
It might be. It might be.
Welcome to the Rise-ish podcast, everybody.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be a lot.
It's gonna be real fun.
All right, well, let's introduce the most honest politician on the panel because he's always out there trying to collect the votes. It is a part of the family. You know him as Predator.
Vote for Pred. That's all I gotta say.
Dude, yo.
Hey man, happy to be here again. I think me and you talked Xbox a couple of weeks ago about next week. I might not be here, but I wasn't planning on being here today. But luckily, like I convinced the wife to let me play with my friends today. So
Like,
Come outside and play.
Can I go out and play?
We had some other plans for tonight, and she decided, I'm too tired to do this shit. So I'm like, yes, So here for the show, man. I know we got some topics to go over.
Mm-hmm.
We got a victory to give to myself for the best gameplay footage, so y'all might want to get started on that pretty early. Yeah. Oh, and Don, I usually put, I copy everything right here on the side, right there, so you can see it. If you don't know what the topics are, just gonna put that out there.
Are they pictures?
Are they what?
Pictures. I'll be able to
illustrated. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I'll make that happen next time.
Yeah, I
You need to
want
make them a
like
pop-up
little
book and
symbols,
everything?
like you would put on top of a console. Can you do that?
Don said put
I
everything.
lost everybody. I was like, what happened?
Don said put everything in pop-up book form, and after he gets over his fear of pop-up books, then he'll go in and get the information. On that note, man, we got to move on here, and we have to introduce the man who has saved the world for the 162nd time just this past Tuesday. Of course, it's Dark Optimus.
You also forgot to say that I was snubbed for this week's gameplay. No, what's up?
What are you talking about, man?
No, you hit me up this morning. You're like, hey, bro.
We're gonna have to hold your gameplay because I had 5 gameplays, but only 4 slots to vote on. So I mean,
no, it's all good.
I mean, you could go
It's
ahead,
all good, but it's not. It's all good, but it's not.
Well,
You could have held on mine. I mean, I just was playing around with my gameplay to this.
No,
He won last week.
He caters to you, Mega.
Oh.
He revolves all his gameplay.
I mean,
around you.
look. I took the day. I brought some gameplay, but I took the week off because look, if I win this one, right? Because this is not my best showing. I just threw something together, and if I still all give me homage to K Mega, the Rise-ish king of gameplay.
You shouldn't have won the 2 you won. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, get out of here! Send your trash ass gameplay to Hades.
guys, everybody checking out the show right now. See, here's the deal. If you follow the show, you now realize that I am just completely surrounded by divas now. It is hard. It is hard to make the right decision because, there's at least somebody who's going to put me out there, make me walk the plank, per se, since we're checking out the Sea of Thieves from the Don. Yeah, they make me walk the plank each and every week, but...
As you should.
Well, we got to shout out, our family members who aren't here right now. Of course, Snaps is at her job that actually, where she earns real money, not on this podcast. So she's out there peddling them cookies. So huge shout out to Snaps. Fuski's pretty much doing the same thing on that end. Huge shout out to the wizard of the UWP, our boy Newark NJ, out there in Twitter land right now. And with that being said, guys, I actually have a couple kind of like lighter subjects. We're gonna jump into some light subjects before we get down to it. Snaps actually just reminded me in the chat. Yes, I did our sponsor emojis for our channel. So if you are a sponsor, you can go in to the emoji section. There are 5 different emojis, and I am gonna put in there. Of course, it's not popping up. There it goes. I'm going to put in the 5th one. If you didn't know, I said it was going to be a surprise. So I'll put 5 of them in there. And I'm going to send it on out to you guys. For some reason, it's taking a second.
Bro,
there we go.
I need one more. I see them now. I see them. Those are cool. What's call it? I like those.
We got little fizzies going on from Sunset Overdrive.
That's dope. Yes, I need one more sponsor, and then I can start sending some emojis myself. So
nice. We got Snaps in the chat showing all 5 that we have, and I believe I need 3 more sponsors. I could put in 5 more emojis as well. So I have one. Dope. I have one that's a shout out to somebody who supports this channel, this show a lot, which is Delirium Blades. We're calling it the Tender Bear. That's going to be an emoji.
Stupid.
I got some ideas, guys, and what
I thought that was for me at first. I was like, these bastards.
No.
Hey, Mega, not everything's for you, bro.
No, I got plans for an emoji for you, man.
Oh, come on! It was a little tender bear. I was like, come on.
Yeah, but your bear on your logo is not Care Bear or anything.
He's a tender. Look at that. That's a cute bear. Look at my
It's a cute Mega Bear.
Oh, goodness.
It's a cute Mega Bear.
It's a cute Oklahoma bear. I like that bear.
All right, guys. I take on the responsibility of trying to move this show forward. So let's get into the first subject, which is the State of Decay 2 limited edition that people have been talking about all week long, ever since it was announced. For people who don't know, if you've been living under a rock or something like that, or you strictly come to this show for gaming news, State of Decay limited edition is I think it's available for pre-order right now. But the big thing that everybody's talking about is how it doesn't come with the game. What it does come with is a latex zombie mask. It comes with a brain stand, though it's a stand that looks like a brain that you could put the mask on. It has literally a thumb drive. It looks like a severed thumb. A steel case and an iron-on patch, but a lot of people are talking about how it doesn't include the game. Now, I want to go to K-Mega first on this because I know he is a Battlefield 1 fan, and I know this is very similar to what they did with Battlefield 1. So, Mega, how do you feel about this limited edition? Give us your thoughts, your impressions, and do you see this as something similar to what they did with Battlefield when that game came out?
Yeah, no, they did the same thing with Battlefield. They also did it with a couple of other games that I was interested in. The games are cheaper without the disc, so they're probably looking at it from that standpoint of like, well, if they just want the collector's items, most likely a lot of people's going to buy the game digital anyway, or maybe for the people that just want. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just if people wanted to get it from Game Pass, but still was interested to get the collector's items, I think that's a good idea. That's a different approach. I also feel that though they should have one as well with the game included for those that may want that. But I think that a lot of people are going to want to Game Pass that game or buy it outright for the cheap price that it is. So I don't see too big of a concern about it.
All right. Well, before we get into this, I do want to shout out Mr. Festo, who also hit up the super chat. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the support for this show and this channel. Yeah, like I look at it Mega, as you know, times are changing. We see that now. You know, we're going to be talking about the Microsoft announcement, you know, in this show as well. And I remember when people really started buying into digital, you know, there was a thought process on what would they do for a limited edition if, you know, people just started buying digital as the majority. I think this is the kind of like the possible solution. I don't have a problem with it because at the end of the day, it's an option. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out there that are, you know, barking up trees and getting angry and yelling and screaming on social media. But at the end of the day, if you don't like it, guess what? Don't buy it. That's my impression on it. But
well, hold on. Let me just go through this. I'm looking at a couple of them right now. Ark, the collector's edition, doesn't have a disc. Wolfenstein doesn't have a disc. With that, you get a $150 edition from it's a Steam game. I can't see the name of it right now, but it's $150 for just that, and it doesn't have the game. I'll go and look on that. Of course, you got Battlefield, Mass Effect Andromeda had one with the disc not included. So I'm like, it's not just this game. I mean, it's they said the Resident Evil, I'm looking at right now, Resident Evil 7 Collector's Edition have no disc included. So it's not Mirror's Edge. I mean, the list goes on. I'm looking at it right now, and it's like, to me, if you're going to bitch about one particular game, then you got to bitch about them all. But since nobody said this about Resident Evil 7, then...
Well, not necessarily, Mega. Not necessarily, because, you know, this game is on Game Pass, and it's a little different. You know, you're not spending, like, you know, 60 or 70 bucks on the game. You're spending, like, what, 20 or 30 to 40 or 50 bucks on the game. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, it's more of an option, you know, and people have a right to complain about those ones, but I think this one, like, there's no really real reason to complain about it because the game's on Game Pass. You can play it for $10 a month, you know, like, and if you really want that collector's edition, then get it, you know, because I mean, you're not going to be spending a ton of money on the game. Now, if you spent like $60 on the game, then yeah, I could see people complaining, but people complaining about, you know, this little like collector's edition, it's retarded.
Okay, Otter, I appreciate you showing some guff. You know what I'm saying?
He came in and interrupted you, man. That was
he came in. That's what I gotta do, man.
You can't sometimes. Otter, calm down. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I was not going to play it today, but you're going to get it sometime today. You don't know when you're going to get it, but you're going to get your order.
Hold on. Shout out to Michael C. in the chat, who also, you know, hit up that super chat. I really do appreciate it. He is a definite supporter. I've seen him here every Saturday, and I know he gives when he can as well. So, yo, huge shout out to Michael C. out there. But yeah, I'm proud of Otter for stepping up.
I am too. Like, that threw me off. I like that though. I like that.
Hey, sometimes you gotta change up the game, you know?
Yeah. Well, all I was going to just say before I was rudely interrupted. No, I was just going to say, this is crazy. Mass Effect Andromeda had a $200 collector's edition, and it did not include the game. So if Mass Effect Andromeda could get away with that, and anything could get away with it. I'm just saying. I mean, I liked Andromeda. I didn't think it deserved all the hate that it got. It wasn't the best Mass Effect of all, for sure. But $200 for a collector's edition without the game, that's pretty steep, Jack.
Damn, that's crazy. Yo, when you look back on it, like you said, people didn't really talk too much about these titles. And then when you go back and look at the limited editions, the list is pretty long where there was no game included in that, man. I'm not sure how many people vote for huge shot, gotta pay the bills.
Wow.
H20's out there. Vote for Pred.
Who's that guy? Who did that?
Yo, Pred, you're awesome, man. That's
if
incredible.
you keep saying that, I'm going to change your icon to Donald Trump.
Oh no!
No,
I already have a Donald Trump icon, like a logo. I don't necessarily use it, but it was made for me. But
it's now going to be Pred's.
On what Dark was saying, the only like real argument, and this is just nitpicking to me because, you know, K Mega coming through with that list, that really says something. But the only real argument would be just kind of like the name of it. If somebody says we've gotten so used to something being limited edition, a game being limited edition that the game was in it. I know on Crossfire a couple of ideas were swung around, like call it the survival kit or something like that. But like I said, at the end of the day, that's nitpicking. That's the only real argument I see, because it's not a necessity. It's if you're a fan of the game. If you are a zombie buff as well, this is something you might be looking into. But other than that, you don't have to buy it, man. I don't know.
Especially since the game is already in Game Pass. Like, you're only going to be spending
Dark
$10.
is really loving that Game Pass, man. He brings it up all the time.
No, because I just subscribed to it, and I'm all like, man, this is perfect for
it's freaking
people
awesome,
who don't have a lot of money and just want to, just play a ton of games. It's perfect.
Well, it's expensive to run that air conditioner in an igloo.
Well, yeah, Hey, it takes a while. Okay.
Well, Don, what do you think about this limited edition bundle? What do you think about it not including a game? What do you think about what it does include? Are you gonna be running around with like a brain statue in your hand with a zombie mask? Like, are you gonna go get this?
All this stuff is fan service, and I think when you have this, people are gonna want the game as well. They don't want the stuff, and I understand, there's different ways you can buy the game, and maybe that's their approach. But
hold on, Don, just real quick, we got to shout out the king of the A button himself, Mr. Soft Thumbs K Mega, for hitting up the super chat, man.
And read what I said at the bottom right there.
It doesn't say anything.
No, right there at the bottom under the poke, man. Come on, because I didn't know how to do that. That's my first time ever doing it.
We're not playing that game, K Mega.
Man, come on, man.
Fred, you know why?
Fred eats pig feet. You can't listen to anybody eat pig feet, man.
No, Fred donated $2.
Man, come on, man.
No,
every
donation counts, Don. You can't add those stipulations, man.
Hey, look,
listen here. Fred paid the big bucks. You didn't, K Mega.
YouTube gonna take it all anyway.
So I guess I'll state it this time, but just to let you know, Mega, every other time it has to be in the color bar, man. That's where it has to be. So this way, that's where it gets priority, and I get to say whatever comment. All right, but yeah, K Mega states Pred eats pig feet, but he actually typed in Pred it's pig feet. So
I was trying to hurry up.
Fucked that up twice.
I sure did. I fucked it up, man.
You went
this is who you're voting for.
sorts of ways there.
This is the person you're voting for.
I'm gonna lose today.
That was bad as
Damn.
Trump.
That was bad. That was horrible.
But all right, go ahead, Don. What do you think about the limited edition stated K2, man?
Man, I just think it needs to be more straightforward. Anytime we do limited editions, just include the game. Don't make them complicated. Just include the game. And if you want to do something, if somebody wants buy the game, buy a special edition through the digital store, let them buy the special edition through the digital store. They get the digital code. They're able to preload the game, and then they send the rest of the goods to your door. Do it that way if you want to do it through those means. But just keep it simple. The customer, it's bad enough the customer has to what comes in the special edition. Does it come with this? Does it come with that? It comes with a separate finger. Why do I want a separate finger? Oh, it's a thumbstick. You have to decode each one and every one of these.
Can you imagine that in the front port of your Xbox One X, just like a thumb sticking out of it?
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things. People gotta these collector's editions are you have to decipher them half the time, and it shouldn't be that complicated. And then you have to kind of start guessing if it comes with the game or not. Make it simple on the customer. These little things like this is what makes the customer base of gamers upset at developers, upset at publishers, upset at platform providers. It's little things like this that break the straw finally. And just don't do that. Just keep it simple. So, you don't have to make it that complicated.
So you're saying there's actually a viable reason here for people out there kind of complaining about this whole thing?
I honestly think so. There are certain things where you, as a platform provider, as a publisher, you have to be consumer friendly, right? You have to do that. And sometimes the consumer will ask things outside of reason. That happens, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not unreasonable to do a collector's edition that has to do with celebrating the game that you just released. Include the game that you're celebrating. It's not that hard. Just include.
but it's in Game Pass.
I like what Jazzy New put in the chat, by the way. Collector's Edition is the wrong name. Should be called Collector's Content or Collector's Bonus. I like Collector's like bonus or something like that. Call it the Survival Kit or something. But like I said, Mega has made the biggest point on this subject so far. And I thought this was just going to be a light subject, but he had made the biggest point where he has a whole list of other games that they're Collector's Editions, but they didn't come with the game. So
I'm not a fan of that either. I don't think that was the right move for those either. Like, so just like Q-Mega said, like, if you're gonna bitch about that, you got to bitch about all of them, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm kind of saying, like, don't make it. Customers want to know exactly what they want to buy. They want to put the least amount of effort in and buy a product. Okay, and you're not doing that for a consumer. And it's little things like that just kind of pisses people off, and they're like, well, maybe I'll be less hesitant to buy a special edition for some other publisher that's doing it right. Like, it just keep it simple. And yes, there are the Game Pass guys, but I'll say this about the Game Pass guys, right? If you're a collector, you tend to want to spend the big bucks anyways and own the game. So
that is true. Yeah,
there are exceptions. Like, I don't want to like leave those people out in the cold or not, but we'll address that as the whole collector's edition is mature enough, and that people know what to expect out of it, and then we can word those ones a little bit differently. But just include the game. It's not that difficult.
Don, I think the big question, the question that's on everybody's mind in the chat and on the panel is, to you, Project Pimp Cup, is it going to have a limited edition with the game or without? I think that's the bigger question here.
I'm just doing the game. I'm not doing any collectors. You don't see collector's editions on first iterations. That's very rare on anything, like, so, because it doesn't have a fan base.
Well, Don, you are pretty rare, so I could see you doing something like that, man.
Well, yes, but I do want to do something special for people, and I am trying to figure out what that is. But that's a whole other subject.
It's Xbox 448 voiceover for every single character, just in different pitches and speeds.
Yeah, please don't do that. That would be just so annoying.
That would be so amazing.
No, I will not do that.
All right, guys, hit up his Twitter and let him know that's what you want. You want Xbox 448 as every single character's voice in Project Pimp Cup. But
I gotta sell the game to publishers later. Don't do that.
Don't do that. That sweet sound will do it, man. I'm telling you.
Man, it'll get every little 12, 11-year-old girl excited, man. Come on, let's get out of here.
Dude, you say I'm squeaky, but you're the one known as the angry otter. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, I'm cute, motherfucker.
I'm cute, motherfucker. Yo, and on that note, we got Pred. What do you think about this limited edition, man? It's funny, Don. I can never actually guess what he's gonna come up with, man. And he was the one that said that people do have a right to kind of complain about this whole thing. What do you think, man?
I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's more of a bigger deal because it's an Xbox game, right? That's why it's in the news. When all those games that K-Mega listed, like, no one complained about those not having the game in there, and all of a sudden it's an Xbox exclusive, and now everybody's like, "Oh, what? Where's the game? Why is there no game in here? There's no game." Well, look, motherfucker, half the shit that came out so far as collector editions this generation didn't have a fucking game in there. So I don't understand why this is a big issue right now. But again, it's an Xbox thing, right? It's an Xbox exclusive, so people are blowing it out of proportion.
It has come up a couple times. I don't remember which titles they were, but there were at least a couple.
Hold on. You sit and think about those titles. I want to give a couple shout outs to people on Mixer right now. Worrywart was like, "I want a disc!" All exclamation points. There's got to be like 12 exclamation points out there. First off, what's up, Worrywart? It's good to see you over there. I want to let people know that I am paying attention to the Mixer chat as well. Nightfinder, MLG, what is going on, brother? Good to see you over there on Mixer as well. But I guess Worrywart wants a disc with his limited edition, man.
Yeah, I'm with them. Like, I mean, I expect to have a disc if I'm spending that kind of money on a collector's edition. However, look at it this way. How many people are out there of the panel? Let's talk about us first. Like, who's buying a collector's edition?
Not
Oh
me.
yeah, I'm not gonna buy one. But
Yeah, I mean,
I face the argument though, like of it being in Game Pass and stuff, and the people not having to buy the game outright. I mean, if you really want the collector's edition, you can go out there and buy it.
yeah, and it's probably cheaper this way anyway because you can get it through Game Pass and you can get the collector edition. I don't know what the price is, but like I'm looking at the Mass Effect collector's edition, it's $200 with the remote control card, and I can go pick that up right now, probably cheaper at Best Buy. If I just wait a little while. So I mean, like, I don't know. It's not a big deal to me. I mean, if I wanted the collector's edition, if I'm a collector, I'm gonna get it regardless of what the price is because that's what you do as a collector. Price is no object for some of these collectors. Like they don't give a shit what the price is and how much.
Oh, if you're a collector, there's a lot of times you don't care about the price, man.
Yeah, because if you just don't touch it, you just leave it alone, put it in the closet somewhere, and pull it back out in 10 years, you're gonna make some money off of it. But
I got my limited edition Sonic Mania that came with Sonic standing on the Genesis and everything. It's in its box. It's sitting right in front of me on my computer desk right now, completely unopened, and it's not going to be open, man.
And that's the thing with collector's editions, and I mentioned this on one of the podcasts this week. Like, if it came with a disc, you'd have to open it, right?
Yeah, yo, you made a great point on that too, man.
Isn't it more expensive? Don't you get more money back if you like the more pristine it is?
Well, yeah, as soon as you open it, it drops in value.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, right? Because you're right because you want to keep the box closed for those people or those type of collectors. But the same token, the reason why some people buy collectibles is because they want something tangible. So that's the reason why guys like Worry Wart want a disc. It just makes sense. So it's a weird territory. I mean, I honestly, what I want to see, and this is just me on the digital front, that you can buy the collector's edition and then you got the digital code, and then they send you the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, like
I want to
give
see
you
that
an
too.
option
That'd be awesome.
Like I want this with the digital code. I want this with the physical game. Like when you go to Amazon, right? It's sometimes when you go buy stuff on there, it tells you, okay, here are your other options for this purchase, right? You can buy, this collector's edition. You can buy the gold edition. You can get this. You can get that. So how about we just make that an option? If you want a collector's edition, give you the option with digital code or with physical disc separate. Easy peasy. Done. And this whole debate goes away. Like you still have the option to get the game. You still have the option to get the physical portion of the game, and you can still get your collector's edition. If you don't want to open it, you don't have to. If you want to open it and display it like some people do, you can do that too. But like, it's all about having options. I mean, like it's not that hard to like, especially with like companies now like Amazon, stuff like that, to give you something and then like put something else in a separate box.
So you're thinking a SKU similar to what they already have on State of Decay, right? Right now, where it has no disc, and basically you have three options: disc, digital code, or just the collector stuff.
Yeah,
is that what you're thinking? So they already even have to make a new. They really have to make three different SKUs, but all they do is packaging a code in there,
exactly.
Packaging the disc. I gotcha. And the disc not necessarily in the box with the collector stuff. That's just a separate box.
See, I think that's probably what Pred said is probably the most logical way to go. This generation has turned out to be the generation of options, which I feel it's even going to build up more into next generation. I'm calling next generation the crossroads generation because I feel like there's going to be so many options per console next gen. It's going to be insane. But this is why it's good to have these talks. I mean, it was a small topic that I kind of put in there at the end, and man, everybody really has opinions on this that were really well thought out and whatnot. I do want to move on, though. I want to move on to hear what you guys think is going to happen on Tuesday with the release of Sea of Thieves. I will go out on a limb here. I'm going to say something that Snap said to me in her opinion. I don't know if she knew I was going to share this on the show. So if this is privileged information, I'm going to get hurt tonight when she comes home. But she's predicting that the servers are actually going to crash, and it's going to be an issue at least for a couple days when Sea of Thieves drops. So
this is a PlayStation game, so I mean,
but you got to admit there has been Xbox titles that when they launched, just so many people, there was so much hype, so many people, and it killed the online, man.
And that would be so sad if that happened because they had so many playtests and so many alphas and betas and Charlies and Deltas and this shit working when it came out.
Fred, what do you think? What are your predictions? Success, failure, broken? What do you think's going to happen on Tuesday, man?
I think it'll be a success. You know, the typical Windows Store issues where people can't download shit will be a problem, like always, unless they iron that shit out. And because I'm thinking, it's Play Anywhere as well, so I'm thinking about that aspect of it too. But for the console side, I could see it crashing. But I would be disappointed if it did, because it's a multiplayer online game, and day of, you should be expecting, with the numbers this game's been pushing, they should know approximately, at least, within a ballpark figure, like, this is going to be a huge game the first week or so. Like, people are going to download the fuck out of this and play it the first week. Now, what happens after that is up to anybody's guess, but, it should have a smooth launch, with the preloading and stuff like that. Everything is there. I don't think we should have a problem with servers at all. But the thing is, with PUBG, I don't think I had a problem with servers when it came out either. And there were a lot of people on that when it launched.
Well, see, here's the thing. When it comes to Xbox exclusives, first party content and whatnot, I don't think there should ever be a problem with the servers, because if they're using Azure servers, you saw like what they're doing with cloud computing with Crackdown, how more servers spin up as the process gets bigger and bigger. Microsoft has these server farms all over the world. To me, they should not have a problem. Now, within this generation, there were a few titles that have had a problem multiplayer. So I'm leaning towards Snap side here. I think there might be issues when it first comes out, just for the mass of how many people are going to try to get on as soon as it's available with Game Pass, it being Play Anywhere, all that stuff put together. If it does come out smoothly, I think that is an absolute kind of like gaming miracle that Microsoft should get a lot of props for. But Mega, what do you think's gonna happen, man? Success, failure, broken? What's the deal?
Man, it's gonna. Man, I don't know, man. I would hope that it wouldn't be. Right? I think maybe for the Xbox, it will work fine. For PC, I think they'll still have issues because of the fact that I think they may have a barometer of what it's coming, but I don't know if they actually know how many people on the PC, because PC gamers, they could talk one thing and then they could just jump and go do another. You see what I'm saying? So it's we kind of know how, like, what the sales are going to probably be because of pre-orders and things like that, how many people played Game Pass. But when you look at it from the PC aspect, there's still some wrinkles I think that they might have to address, and it might have a couple of hiccups coming from there. I think that the Xbox version is going to be fine, though. I think that they've did too many beta tests and things like that. I agree with Fred. If there's any hiccups, exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a full barrage of hate and negativity. What happened to these great servers? What about the cloud? And Sea of Thieves is dead. Xbox is dead. Here goes, so. Oh
man, the doom and gloom this generation has been insane, dude.
Yes, it will happen, and then you'll have more and more, even Xbox fans even saying more negative things about it. So they better not slip on the Xbox. A PC, it is what it is over there, but they'll still play it once you get on, but it's going to be streamed everywhere. So hopefully, you get the chance to play it at midnight and stream the hell out of it, because it's going to be all over the place. I think the game is going to be a sensation.
All right, I gotta give a shout out to Vogel. Basically talking about when I shared Snap's opinion. I said if she didn't know I was going to use it and I used it and she gets mad that like I'm going to get hurt when she gets home. He basically said I'm going to get hurt either way, so I'm screwed. That's pretty much the truth, man. Vogel has been in a bunch of parties. He basically is there every Monday and Wednesday when we're playing PUBG and we're streaming and stuff. So he knows the deal. So you guys can trust.
He must be a married man. That's what it is.
That too, man.
We know.
But I think Mega made a great point when it comes to like the Play Anywhere and the PC version, because this is something I came out with a video this past week talking about optimization, talking about Burnout, the remaster of Burnout, how Digital Foundry was trying to compare a PC title that wasn't the remastered for Burnout Paradise to the Xbox One remastered version, and then they tried to run the PC one on was it RX 580 and a GTX 1060, and
The whole 1060 thing, like even then, like you got to understand, like they're up to no good when they compare a 1060 to the X. It's a 4.4 T-flop card. It's more comparable to a PS4 Pro than it is an X, right? So, and you also got to keep in mind consoles have a 30% advantage, which is through optimization, and that's not just me saying it as a developer. Those are direct quotes from the head CEO of AMD, the same person that does hardware for both PlayStation and Xbox, and used to do stuff for Nintendo as well. So
yeah, well, I mean, you already know, like we know their history. We know when they're up to something, and so that's really interesting though. I basically was calling them out on why are you even comparing the non-remastered PC version to the remastered version when the remastered version is dropping on PC the same day that it drops on all other platforms. But that's a different subject. Dark, what do you think about Sea of Thieves in terms of its launch day on Tuesday? What do you think is going to happen? Is it going to be a success? Everything runs smooth? Is it going to be a barren wasteland that nobody's playing, or is it going to be broken, man? What do you think?
It's gonna fail. No, I'm just kidding. I just triggered the whole entire audience right now. Everybody's just like, "What?"
You should check your Twitter followers right now. It just dropped by half, man.
No, I think this game is gonna do phenomenal for the Xbox. I think, the server wise, I don't think the servers are going to crash. I don't agree with that. I think the servers are going to be fine, especially since they've been testing this game out for so long, like so many months. They've had betas, they've had alphas, they've had tech tests and things like that. So I mean, I don't think this game is, when it comes out, it's gonna. You might have a little bit of problems just trying to get in, but I think they'll get you in when when you can get in. It's not gonna be like let's just say like the Division or something like that when that first came
Fortnite,
out.
Like when they opened up mobile as well,
right?
It's like a 40-minute wait.
Yeah, it's like a 40-minute wait. I think this may be like a 10, maybe 5 to 10 minute wait. If anything, if there is a hold on people trying to get in, but I honestly I can't really see it failing at all. Like I mean, this game, there's so much hype around it. There's so many people who want to play this game. I'm kind of excited for it, but I don't know if I'll get it on day one. I don't know yet. I'll probably play it in Game Pass first.
I was gonna say you got Game Pass, man, so you don't even have to think about buying it right now.
I know, but like I'm like that, where I'm like I want to have it just to have it, just in case if the Game Pass doesn't, if I don't have Game Pass after a couple months or whatever. I just like to have it, especially since I've been hearing people saying like it's like the Netflix of gaming, and it's like, well, if it is, then that means it's gonna probably leave Game Pass eventually someday.
Yeah, because Netflix original movies, I mean, they leave Netflix all the time, right?
Well, they haven't, but I mean,
exactly, man, exactly.
They haven't yet, but yet. That's the big question: is it gonna leave or not? I don't think it will anytime soon. I don't think it'll leave like
that's how they get you. They keep think they're gonna leave, but it's not, and then you're like, maybe I should stay on another month. That's what they do.
Yeah, and then that makes sense. But I think this game is definitely gonna it's gonna bring in a lot of people who love playing games with their friends, and I think it's definitely gonna be a success.
Nice. I forget because Don has been. I think he had a Red Bull and some sugar before time because he's been all over the place. Don, did you share exactly what you think is going to happen with Sea of Thieves? If not, then go ahead.
Honestly, I never thought of this until you brought it up, and I think it's going to be rough. To be honest with you, I've been hearing this is their biggest cloud compute game yet.
Until Crackdown.
Until Crackdown, obviously. So even more than Warzone and Halo. I don't know if that's actually true or not. I don't have a way to verify that. But that's what I've been told. And so there's more server-related things now. And that's the reason why I was also told that they have had so many betas for such a long time. because of the ambition. It makes all logical sense. I just don't have any way to verify any of that sort of stuff. So if that stuff is true, the potential for more things to go wrong are just, you do the math, it's there.
It's naturally there.
Yeah. So and we've always had these weird, unexpected things happen too, as well. I would say this year more than any other year. So I mean, this generation more than any other generation. So that's more or less. I think Snaps is on to something. I think it'll be a little rough. I think they'll smooth it out, but I think it may be a little rough at first.
Nice. And I just got to clarify when it comes down to this, it's nothing like what happened with the Master Chief Collection, because I feel at the end of the day, the Master Chief Collection, they were trying to bounce between like servers that were dedicated to different Halo games and stuff like that. So there was an issue there. With this, this is a more traditional kind of like, hosted by a server, getting into a multiplayer game and all that kind of stuff. So.
They tested it on a much bigger scale on Sea of Thieves than they did Master Chief Collection, right? They had internal tests, and all of a sudden out of the blue they put it in the public, and didn't have any foresight, didn't think there'd be any issues, and that's what you had with Sea of Thieves. I think they predicted to be issues, and so that's the reason why they had so many play tests. You'll notice anytime they have a new game or a new type of multiplayer that where they do some radical changes, that's when they tend to do that stuff.
I got you. I mean, all in all, with the panel, it seems to be a mixed bag. Some, I think there's going to be some issues. I don't think we see any game that launches without any issues to in this generation anyway, especially with multiplayer aspects, online aspects to it. There's always something that's going to happen. So for anybody who's thinking absolutely perfect launch, I wouldn't go that far. I think it's going to be workable. I think any issues that pop up, they're going to be fixable. And I think that, because of Rare's dedication to this title, Xbox's dedication to this title, and even Microsoft's dedication to this title, any issues that pop up will be fixed rather quickly. So Do
you think it's going to be completely blown out of proportion from the media perspective? Here's the game they play, right? Like we were guessing what they're going to do next, and I think the media is going to, any sort of sign of this, even if it's 30 minutes to a couple hours, they're going to blow it out of proportion.
That is, I mean, that's almost a no-brainer nowadays. So, people who are out there on social media, on YouTube, get ready to actually tell the truth about what's going on, because those clickbait titles will start appearing everywhere, and it'll just go rampant throughout social media. Well, Mega, what do you think on this, man? We get really close to the whole social media and fanboy aspect of what's going on. They come to us. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So do you think that the media, any type of issue that pops off with Sea of Thieves, do you think the media is going to make a mushroom cloud out of it, man?
I mean, you've seen how the media has reacted to anything that's regarding Xbox this generation. I mean, I know that there's people that just think that it's pie in the sky. It's not true. And then they'll compare to what went on with the PlayStation 3 era and all of this and that. But I don't know. I can't say of what I've seen back in the PlayStation 3 era, because I really wasn't paying attention to it like that. So, but for now, me being involved into gaming the way that I am, I've never seen anything like this. I've never have. And to me, it's like they will blow this up. If there's any type of issues or problems, it may not. What the problem will be is that it may be one or two tabloids that will use it as bait, and then it'll spread like wildfire, and then it'll cause for alarm for other publications to use the same rhetoric. It's kind of like it's a copycat type of industry. Like they'll just wait until what's the hot topic, and then they'll use it so people can click on their stuff. And so I feel that if there's any hiccups, even with the PC, there'll be hiccups there, but it won't hit as hard on the console aspect of it, because there's a lot of people that are just mostly console players. Mm-hmm. But if it hurts on the Xbox at all, it's going to be hell to pay, and I think the media is going to spread like wildfire, in my opinion.
And then again, K Mega, it's going to be up to channels like me and you to actually put the truth out there.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be up to people who check out our channel, our videos and everything, to try to spread that out there as much as possible. So this way, the actual information can come out and not just kind of like some twisted opinion of what actually happened.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and look, it's one of the things. Like, the one thing that I get tired of the most is hearing from people that's never really probably listened to my channel, just listen to what rhetoric that be spread out on social media, is that we don't ever criticize anything that Xbox does negative or wrong, but there's a way to do it. I mean, if they're doing something that's not suitable, then you say it, you give the tough love, and then you move on to something that's positive, because it's not all negative of what Xbox does. And for when you hear people that wants to say that we're defenders of Xbox, or we damage control for them, it's like, well, I haven't seen anything from when you guys are saying something negative about what PlayStation does, or what Nintendo does, or even what PC does. So, but we know PC gamers, they go in on PC. We know that. We know that. So it's like, if you're hearing from Xbox gamers of how dissatisfied for whatever the issue that may be, then how is it on the other hand you can say that we're all out here damage controlling? I don't know.
It's funny that you say that, because you actually gave me a great segue into our next topic.
You know how I do it.
Yeah, there was a class action settlement for people who don't remember the PS3 when it was announced and going towards its launch. It was also promoted as a computer, saying that other operating systems, excuse me, could be run on the PS3. And they're talking about Linux and such, right? After a future update, though, Sony and PlayStation took that feature away. And, of course, people got together, started a class action lawsuit. Now, that lawsuit has been settled, all right? So, I don't know how many people on the panel here has had PS3s, how many people in the chat, if you've had PS3s. You could actually be getting some money back. As much as $65, you do have to show that you bought the PS3. You have to claim that you bought the PS3 with that feature also in mind, as well as your gaming and stuff, and that when that update came up and took that feature out, that you literally lost value in your machine for it. There's a couple of hoops that you would have to climb through as well, the serial number to your PS3, and you have to go and stake your claim. But it's a settlement, guys, and it's a settlement for something that, I don't know, I see as unfair towards the gamers who, when they first saw the system, I'm pretty sure everybody here saw, the unveiling of the PlayStation 3, all the promises and everything like that. I don't know, man. Predator, what do you think about this? I'm actually putting the link to the article because it has the claim in it as well in the chat. But is this a good thing here for gamers? And why aren't we hearing about this as well? Like on social media, IGN, gaming news and stuff. There's one article and that was it, man.
I would think that a lot of people probably forgot about that. I think part of when I read the link that you posted out, I think part of it was you had to prove and sign a waiver saying that you knew that the PlayStation could do Linux in the first place. And that's part of the process.
Well, they showed it running Linux, though.
Yeah, I mean, they showed it, but how many gamers out there are using it? All this extra shit we get on an Xbox One X, or we don't use some of that stuff. Who knew that you could use Linux on their PlayStation 3 before? I didn't. And I probably saw it and was like, okay, I can use Linux, whatever. Just pressed on. I just want to play games on it, right? So a lot of people didn't know that they could do it, and they probably didn't think twice about it. And when it didn't happen, they just pressed on and played games. I mean, not everyone, we're in the majority here, but I'm sorry, in the minority here. A lot of people just bought their consoles to play games. I know it's kind of a hard thing to fathom, but that's what they bought it for. And all the extra shit that comes with it is just bonus, but most people weren't going to use that shit anyway. So it's not a big deal. I think the amount of money they're spending on it is going to be a big deal. What was it, a couple of billion or some shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. That's a knock on Sony. I mean, that's a big amount of money to be dropping for a class action lawsuit. But Part of it is they have to claim it, and a lot of people probably are not in a position to claim that anyway. But should it be in the news? Yeah, it's gaming news, game related news. I think it should be highlighted a little bit more, specifically because there's money involved. And some people, I mean, a small minority of people might have been looking forward to using Linux, and when it didn't happen, they just said fuck it and just moved on. But I don't know how they ended up getting sued for it. And honestly, had it not been for this article, I would have never thought twice about this in the first place.
Well, see that's the thing. Like, for the people out there who does benefit from this, it could be a small number within the gaming community, but when you're in gaming news and you're in gaming media, that's something that you put out there for your supporters, for people who go to you for news, just in case it might benefit them. And like I said, like, you didn't really see this. I need to shout out to Vogelskrieg, the supporter of the year for the community, because he's actually the one who sent me this article in a DM. So huge shout out to him. He is the reason why this actually was brought to my attention, and we're talking about it now. But Don, what do you think, man? Why aren't people like talking about this more? At least getting the word out there to let people know that there was a settlement and you could possibly get. I mean, at least $65. It's not really the price to me, but it's more for you were lied to at one point in time, and now it's been like kind of like vindicated or validated that you had a honest gripe on your hands.
You know what's interesting? I think this more illustrates the difference in the media's approach on this subject matter. Because if you actually follow the lawsuit when it was first kind of filed, I've heard about this thing for like a whole entire year. So like I didn't care one bit about running Linux on anything, let alone a PlayStation 3. Mm-hmm. But that's all I would see from IGNs and the GameStops and the GameSpots and all that sort of stuff for a whole entire year. They were talking about this lawsuit, and it went dark, which a lot of class action lawsuits do. And then when it actually is settled, nothing.
And do you think it? Hold on. Do you think it's nothing because I'm going to throw this out there, man? This is going to complete left field here, but when it comes to the gaming news, do you think it's nothing because it was shown that Sony did something that wasn't honest to their gamers?
Well, I'll let people jump to their own conclusions on that. But my thing is, you can't deny there's not a change in the attitude of these publishing entities. I mean, it's all out there on the internet. You can go when this was the hot news, and you can hundreds and hundreds of articles there was about this, about Linux, as it's probably probably one of the few times Linux was ever talked about that much, right?
It's like people love us.
Exactly, and so you have that, and they took it away, and I remember like, well, that's not right. It's not a service I would use, but it's not something you do, because that's one of the things they would sell people on the PlayStation 3 before the PlayStation 3 launched. And one of the big pushes for Sony was when they were doing the cell processor. The cell processor, they're attacking not only the gaming division of things, but they wanted to use it as a gateway into the personal PC as well. With the cell processor, and that's the reason why they partnered up with Intel and all that sort of stuff. That's the reason why they were able to let Linux be run on the system. They were going to try to use that as a gateway, and it just didn't work how they wanted it to, and it wasn't getting the traction. And I think they're around that time when they dropped Linux is when they decided they're no longer going to be using cell going forward. But at the end of the day, that's someone buys that system and you take a feature away.
And not tell people before time. I think that was the thing that settled the lawsuit, is they weren't telling anybody that they were taking that feature out to begin with, and they just did it anyway. I think that was...
Yeah, I think they found out afterwards, like the people that are having the issues, if I remember correctly. And then that's how it became a big thing as well. So, I mean, if you want to see any change in the attitude towards just the publications out there and towards Sony, regardless if you feel like they favor them or didn't favor them, whatever, you can tell that there's a difference just in this particular subject matter. And, it's a good case study to actually just follow and see the attitude change that has happened in the industry.
Oh, guess what, guys? I'm getting talks about my gameplay here on the show right now in the chat. I don't know what that means, but yeah, people are liking that super hot, man.
Super hot's good.
It means that the whole contest is rigged.
It's super weak.
Well,
Oh, he said super weak.
oh no.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mm.
Vote for, #vote for Pred. I already know
That's
it's
right.
coming. Watch. Yo, you got Stuntbot on its way, but Mega.
Uh-huh.
Mega, what do you think about this, man? And kind of like the hushness of people who, claim the responsibility of putting out gaming news and stuff. This is a pretty big deal. I know it was last generation, but like Don said, when this was going on, it was a huge deal. And then when it comes to a conclusion, all I got was one article by a supporter to our channel that brought it to light, man.
Well, it's I don't know. A lot of people are going to lose out on money because a lot of people got rid of the PlayStation 3 like it was syphilis. So it's like once they knew that the 4 was coming, it was gone. I don't have a PlayStation 3 anymore, so it would be null and void for me to try to go back because I don't have any serial numbers about that. So, look, man, it's crazy. You would think that they would talk about it because it's a story regarding gaming news. They don't have to come out, and as you see, I'm coming out with my lazy gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. So look, but it's fire enough to win. Regardless.
No. Trust me, guys. I know from having that experienced eye and watching the gameplay, guys. You got to give it to Xbox 448 to swing.
Anyway, so
Man, you guys are a bunch of beggars.
I know, man. Anyway, so look at that. I'm just killing them, dropping them.
For a participation award too.
Look at this. Look at this military action right here.
Oh man, I need to make that new trophy for you, bot.
Okay, so
Yeah,
anyway,
dude, I'm waiting.
Okay, I thought we were talking about topics, man. While people watch my gameplay. Anyway, so it basically is just like, man, look, it's news. It's gaming news. It should be talked about, and it shouldn't be used as something negative towards PlayStation. It's something that's already been gone. It's past. So if people are still having their PlayStation 3s or still have receipts from way back then or whatever, let them get the opportunity to try to get their money back. I mean, because it is what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure if this was any other platform, if it was an Xbox,
it would be out there. It would be out there. If they were cutting checks for Red Ring of Death right now, a settlement came out, it would be all over the place. RROD everywhere, man.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm trying to be diplomatic about it, but yeah, you're right. It'll be everywhere. And then look at that. Look how I'm laying all of them dudes down. Look at that game.
Yo, Mega, check out this emoji right now. This is for, instead of having to say, come on guys, hit the thumbs up button, I just go like this real quick, and it's thumbings all over the place. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, nobody ain't showing that Boruto. Nobody ain't showing that Naruto like I do. K Mega for the win.
Play on easy.
Naruto is not easy. Go ahead, go in there with the online is working off the dust.
It wasn't easy. It was participation mode. I understand.
It also doesn't count that it's all A button too. So I mean,
he's trying to tug on nostalgia right here.
Look at that showing the nostalgia, showing that old stuff, the 70s stuff.
Guys, don't fall for it. In the chat, do not fall for it.
Look at that.
Don't fall for it, people.
Look at I'm doing PlayStation stuff, man. I'm going back. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. Look at me in college. Look at me, boy. You know
wait. Your argument is someo's hairstyle?
Oh, man, I had hair back then.
Dude.
Fred, we say gameplay. He shows commercials from the 90s.
He went like with the old video, right? But he didn't play an old game like I did. I played Golden Axe.
Yo, dude, that Golden Axe was fire, man. Yo, what was the first game? Was that was Tom Clancy, right?
That was the original. No, not the original, but the Ghost
Future?
Recon Future Soldier.
Future Soldier. That's what I thought. What I thought that was, man. When you go invisible, I love that kind of like visual aspect when it does the cloaking and stuff. That I was like, damn, yo, that's hot, man. A lot better than commercials from the 90s. I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying.
All right, anyway, that's I'm just going back. Look, and you, of course, I'm showing Forza 3, and if somebody keeps throwing out the Noonie Cooney, so I guess they want me to say it. So I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. But you got to give a vote for K Mega for doing it. Noonie Cooney.
Wait, I'm a little confused.
Well,
Why are you done with Forza 3 yet?
Oh, because I'm over here working on Forza 2. I'm trying to finish Forza 2. I finished 1. I finished 7.
Oh, you play with
What are you
Rewind
doing?
equipped?
What are you doing?
I
Look at
finished
how you grab
5.
You play with Rewind
One?
equipped?
Oh,
What?
man.
This is old gameplay. This is how long this gameplay is.
Oh,
This is
so
when I first start playing on this whatchamacallit mode, man. On the new thing. So I was just playing it. I just recorded it and I put it out there, man. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that
All
gameplay,
right, guys.
baby.
So just to let you know, the gameplay will come around again.
I'm about to fall off.
K
I'm about to
Mega
fall off.
is the last
Look at
of
that.
the
Gotta
4,
rewind it.
and then I bring it back, and we go from number 1 all the way through again. So this way, you guys will get kind of like a second chance to look at, the other gameplay as well. Before we vote on Twitter, at Xbox448
Look at that. Number 1 success.
is where the poll is going to be.
Diamonds are forever. I show the actual gameplay, baby.
But-
Let's go.
But check it out. Yo, Dark, what do you think about this news, man? Do you have any stake in this? Are you going to put in a claim? And, dude, isn't it the responsibility of gaming media to put this out there more so this way gamers who didn't know can actually benefit from this if they fall within these brackets and they want to do so?
It sounds like too much of a hassle to even try to do it for 65
Dude, some
bucks.
people
I mean,
will
yeah.
do that for half a penny, man. You don't know.
No, I know. I know people would do it, but it's just like
$55 is a game, bro.
it is something that should be talked about because of the fact that it's something that PlayStation did promise to people, and they kind of didn't really deliver on it. And that isn't okay because of the fact that when you say something and you don't do it, that's false advertising.
That whole PS3 revealed how many things did they show that they couldn't do? I mean, really.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. That's false advertising, and
So you're saying you're still waiting for that kill zone?
I ain't waiting for nothing on PlayStation 3, but I think I kind of agree with K Mega. Like it's I know it's hard for me to say that, but
You've been doing it a lot lately.
yeah, I know, dude. I hate it. I don't know why I keep agreeing.
Rinse your mouth off some soap.
Look at that. Look at that with the sawed-off pump. You know what I'm saying? Pred should be proud of this military action that I'm putting out here.
Hey, I'm
no.
talking now, damn it.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Welcome to the
Dark,
zoo.
if I could vote, man, I would vote for you, even though your gameplay's not in here this week. I'm just saying.
Oh dang! I get a vote even though my gameplay's not there.
Just
That's
because of what you just did. Like, I'm speaking, damn it.
No, but I think it's definitely something that the media should bring up and talk about, because I think it could benefit some of these gamers that actually do want to go out there and get this $65 or whatever, or up to $65. And if you're out there and you want to do that, do it. If you don't care, then, or like me, you don't care, then whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother you.
Dark doesn't care about too much, people.
Well,
I don't know
that's
if you can
because
tell.
a lot of this stuff is like old news. It's like old in the past stuff. Like
Dude, this
PlayStation
article
3.
came out on
that
the
was
15th.
like how many?
That's 2 days
I know,
ago.
but no, I know, but I mean, like it's the PlayStation 3. Who gives a shit? Like
the people who got bamboozled, hoodwinked, run amok.
Boy, if you got bamboozled by the PlayStation 3, then
You
that's on
deserve,
you.
you
That's your
deserve to
fault.
lose the money.
Yeah, you deserve.
Turned around and bought a PlayStation 4.
But Xbox, if you keep using that vocabulary, you must have like ribbon candy on your coffee table. Those are old person words, man.
I have a rock on my computer desk in front of me. It says Imagine. All right, that's the only thing I have right here. And then all my e-juice, which I gotta say, absolute.
It's a little too late, though.
I know. How did I get honored?
That's
man?
okay.
How did I get honored, yo?
Because you
I
sound
know,
like
right?
I
Like-
have a huge emergency,
Late.
big deal, breaking news right here in front of my computer. I ran out of cornbread pudding e-juice, people. It's a sad night.
Man.
Oh, please.
I feel for you, God. I feel sad for you, man. Really?
But I told you,
Dude,
it's much
yo.
cheaper.
Yo, shout out
It's
to
much cheaper
Vogel.
to get some whiskey and some pickle juice, and you can.
Dude, that sound. Oh man, you don't even. That turns my stomach hearing it. But Vogel hit up the super chat again, and he said vote for, and then he's got King. He's like, vote King Neutral, El Mega, Dancing Frog, vote for Pred. So in other words, he wants to try to put a vote for every one of us. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, look how I'm dotting him with this pistol. Pred, you shit. Look at that with that Desert Eagle.
You ever notice how K Mega wakes up when it's his gameplay coming on, but he doesn't say anything.
I know, right? He's just like,
doesn't say anything. The gameplay was fire all throughout this show. I'm
terrible. Terrible gameplay. He's not using any cover concealment.
Skeptical of the Don. So he was just a drunk pirate throwing up on everything like the entire time.
That's the see experience
well,
right there.
That's I usually vote for Pred, but that's the one I'm voting for this week.
Oh no! And guys, I can't vote. I can't even vote for myself. So
yes, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, moving on. Let's start to get into the kind of like the bigger subjects of the week. Now, the first thing is a lot of people were making a big deal out of floor space when it comes to E3. There's these kind of quasi leaked documents.
Hey, Bot, I'm sorry, but the people on the chat, they were. It's been like I think everybody was asking, what game is this that's being played? Could you please tell them, Xbot? Since this is my gameplay.
I have no idea. So why don't you tell them since it's your gameplay?
Isn't it Spec Ops: The Line?
Yes, it's Spec Ops: The Line. Thank you.
Nobody buys that trash, man.
It's like it was a later 360 title, right?
Yeah, it's a 360 title. Yeah, it's a 360 title, but it's on the X right now for backwards compat, and it's also on PC.
Dude, if it doesn't have loot boxes,
if
it doesn't have loot boxes and microtransactions, I don't want it, man. I'm just saying.
That's what the kids are playing.
Cold-blooded.
But on that note, guys, like I said, people were all of a sudden became architects in terms of predictions when it comes to floor space and stuff like that. And they went out there and they tried to say Xbox has nothing because look at their floor space at E3. Well, come to find out, guys, their actual E3 is not even in that building. They got that little floor space plus an entire center. Yeah. And I don't see anybody kind of reversing and doing a 180 on that and be like, yo, why isn't Sony like renting out their own center? But I don't know. It's kind of funny to me. Let's start off with Pred. Yo, Pred, what do you think about Xbox, Microsoft basically having their own place for their conference and booths and kind of like pressers and stuff like that? Do you think this is a good move for Microsoft, and they're doing it on Sunday again, which I think is awesome as well? What do you think, Ben?
I think it's I mean, when they did this last year, they did it on Sunday. I was all for it, man. They get the stage to themselves. And this year I think they're doing it even an hour earlier. So everyone's going to be there with more time to prep for this. So I'm not opposed to this at all. I didn't really get into the whole floor space debate. I didn't understand it because, again, I'm not going to be there. So what they're showing on the floor, I'm not going to get to see anyway. So it didn't matter. I mean, I'll see it on the computer. It's streamed live. Like most of us ain't going to the shit. So it wasn't a big deal. I didn't really put a lot of emphasis on the floor space because they're going to show what they're going to show. And for me, someone who's watching it from home, it's all about the presentation on screen at home, not necessarily what's going to be shown for people to play there. And I've never been to E3, but from my understanding, it's not really made for gamers. It's made for media.
Well, so, that's just, what was it? I think it was just last year they started letting, opening it up to the public, right?
It's not like, I don't remember what the other conference is that comes after that. Like there's one conference that's basically for the gamers. Yeah, maybe it's Gamescom. It's more suited for the gamers, where this is more suited for the media. Like, yeah, they open the doors to it, but the thing is, and I was no shit, I'm doing a video tomorrow on this. So I think Microsoft is kind of like taking a lot of the steam away from some of the goalpost movers here and over the past, I guess, 2-3 years, where, you know, in this situation, like people are complaining about floor space and E3, and it seems like, you know, Microsoft always has people kind of tend to think that Microsoft always has a bad E3. So they've taken that away from people. And they said, you know what? We're not going to do shit at E3. We'll have a little spot over here, but our conference is over in this building. Like, you want to rent your floor space?
Building.
Yeah, fuck you. We got a fucking stadium or whatever it is over here. We're going to do our shit over here. Like, everything that they do, it seems like every move they make is calculated to kind of, you know,
as to
take
a negative,
away,
right?
take away from all the things that's been negative. You like everyone's talking about sales. So you know what? They said, okay, we just won't announce sales anymore. We won't tell you about our console sales anymore. Okay, fuck you then. Y'all want to make this a big issue? Then we won't tell you how many consoles we sold. We'll make you guess, right? What's the other one they were using? They announce numbers when they feel like it. They don't put it in the hands of the media, right? When the power thing was a big issue. Okay, we'll just make another console. We'll make it more powerful than the one that's out right now. Like they've taken away all these issues that people have had with the console and with the division itself, and moved on from it and learned from it in a sense. I don't know if they did it on purpose. I'm just speculating right now, but like ironically, it seems like they've kind of gotten and fixed these things that people have complained about.
And they get hung. And they get hung like. A lot of times when it comes to corporations that deal with consumer base and stuff like that, they say, well, these companies, they're not listening to the consumers. They're not listening to the gamers. They're not listening to the community. In this whole situation, like Xbox and Microsoft, they heard like everything that was going on this generation and they changed things, and they still get hung for that today as well.
I mean, like why rent this giant floor space out, right? And Rand, shout out to Rand, because I think he said this on one of the podcasts this week, and he was like, most of that space that PlayStation has is for media. It's for them to stand there and watch what's on screen. So you don't need space for that if you have your own theater to do shit. And like you have a whole theater for that kind of stuff. And you know, it's like you're saying, it's like it's a backlash against Microsoft no matter what they do. It seems like, you know, they get ran through the weeds. And so this is just like another way for them to kind of fix that. Why would you go to an event that is going to be, you know, surrounded with PlayStation knuckleheads and, you know, try to shine there when you can you have the money, just say, fuck it. We'll just do our own event the day before E3 right next door across the street, and we'll shine on our night, and y'all can have E3 for whatever. And do what y'all want to do anyway.
Well, Pret, I got another question for you, but at first I want to hit the chat. Yo, Jazzy New Xbox, he said the Don wins in gameplay because of that smooth criminal intro. So, Don, that finally paid off for you, man. You got people in the chat talking about...
I got a vote. Got a vote.
Dang, Jazzy. Dang.
Pret, I got to say, with having all this space, man... to me, they gotta show something there that equates to being able to have this space. I've gone out on a limb, and I'm gonna stick to it all the way until we see what is going on at E3. But I've been stating that they're gonna unveil the mixed reality, augmented reality, virtual reality at this year's E3 for the Xbox One X, and this kind of looks like it to me because a lot of floor space, you can get a lot of people trying stuff out in terms of mixed reality. But what do you think is there that like needs all that space? Do you think they're just going to fill it with games and pressers? Do you think it might be something in terms of hardware, kind of like what I'm stating with mixed reality? If you had to predict right now, this is early predictions. What do you think? Why do they need so much space right now?
I think they're trying to fill that space with just people, you know. Just get people in there. Like, obviously, you know, they're going to have, I don't know about the mixed reality thing. I've kind of heard other things about mixed reality, but I think that theater is just, they want their own spotlight, right? They want the fan fest type stuff. They want those people to be able to come in there and see what they have on stage there without having to go through all the hooplas of E3 and stuff like that, where they have all this other competition. It's just Microsoft. It's just what they want to show. It's scripted. It's controlled. They can control the press. They can control leaks. They can control everything from that one area versus having everything out there. Maybe they do mixed reality at the E3 booth, maybe, but I've heard, you know, like it might be mentioned, but it won't be showcased. That's what I've heard. But again, it's really, really early.
But you make a great point.
My thing is, I don't really give a shit how big their stadium is or how big the anything is. I just need them to show games. Bring the content, because that's all that's lacking right now. That's the main thing everyone complains about is for the games. Every time you see like a little fucking troll, y'all have no games. There's no games. There's no games. They're like, okay, so
society, talk about a what have you done for me lately thing. Like when it comes down to it, you guys know I prefer the Xbox platform. I feel like this entire generation I've gotten great new IPs, new experiences, sequels to games I absolutely love. We have one bad year, and there's just so many people out there that were ready to kind of throw in the towel, raise the white flag. It's all done. Everything's over. I'm like, damn, one bad year? Like, every company, every gaming company console has a down year, man. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Well, I will say this, and after going through the multiple E3s over the past years, every year, it seems like every E3 we throw that flag up, disclaimer. Oh, well, wait till next year. Wait till next E3. Right? And we said this last year, like this has to be their E3, and I think we kind of got,
last year was a great E3.
Last year was a great E3. It was a great E3. However, it was great because they unveiled the One X. They showcased like 40 something games, and most of those aren't even out. So but like they showed us a lot, but they didn't show us what they're doing within the company. A lot of those games they showed were either canceled, not coming, haven't shown up yet. We haven't heard anything about them. We got Crackdown, State of Decay, and Sea of Thieves and Forza, right? And we're getting most of those games this year. However, we have no idea what's coming after E3 this year.
They didn't really have the things to fill in the core, and they're going to this thing from E3 to E3, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't know what that's like yet, right? This is the first year of that experiment, so that's why I'm always kind of like I want to see how this plays out, though.
They're going to show beyond a year at this E3. They're going to do what I said they should do.
A year and a month?
No. They are going to tease. They are going to tease the future of the platform, which is what you have to do. You can't just say I'm only showing within this 1 year and that's it. You have to show people that there is a future beyond that year, because
within that 1 year, there's not a lot.
We'll see what they do. I'm not convinced one way or the other. Like that's what they said they're going to do until they officially say no. We're going to be showing more. I'm going to go with that.
So Don, last night on Crossfire, me and Crap were talking about a topic, and Crap said something about, well, Don said this or whatever, and I had to tell him like we don't necessarily, me and you don't agree on everything. There's a lot that,
especially on that particular subject. I think that's our first argument as friends. We're still friends, right? Before we even started the podcast.
I didn't see you put in a super chat yet, though, so I'm not sure.
Pay me, we'll talk.
Is that how I had to buy your friendship?
Become a sponsor and you get emojis, man. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man, I thought our friendship was evolved past that.
Our friendship, the foundation of our friendship, the pillars that hold us up is Halo 5. I just want to let you know that, man.
I would say, honestly, the pillars of our friendship is we're able to disagree.
Yeah.
But have respect for each other's opinions. Like, that is literally the foundation of both how me and Bot became friends. And we just happen to play Halo together.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, as long as we can come together and agree that the only way to play PUBG is with no pants on, that right there, friends for life, no doubt.
Gamers that game without pants together stay together, right?
I'm not quoting you on that or repeating that ever again, by the way. Yo, Mega, what do you think about this? Yo, I was like, damn, man, Microsoft, Xbox, they got a little swag. They dropped their nuggets right there, and they're like, you know what? Whole conference, like a whole building, a whole center is ours. What do you think, man?
Oh man, I'm excited because this is supposed to be my first E3, so for me being there, so I'm really excited, and it's just fitting because they're welcoming K Mega with open arms and they're having his own theater in my honor. So I'm like, damn, man, that's I mean, I know I'm not as big as the PD Pies and them, but I mean, damn, they know about K Mega. Anyway, hell, they don't probably know who the hell I am. Anyway,
they know about the king of the A button. Come on.
Yes, the king of the A button. But no, it's great. It's great to know that they're listening to their fans. And even, negative or positive, they are listening. And that's something that you don't really see from a lot of corporations. Only just a few that actually really show, try to have an understanding of what the feeling is around what's going on in their circle, because there's other companies. If you look at Nintendo, everybody at first was looking at Nintendo like, what are they doing? Why are they going backwards with their technology? Why are they doing this and doing that? But they just stuck with their plan and they did it. And now everybody is loving what they're doing all of a sudden. Same with PlayStation. PlayStation doesn't really listen to the outside noise. They just stick to the script. Xbox has kind of done themselves a solid in a lot of ways, but also put themselves in a bad situation because I feel that they listen to the wrong people.
They listen too much, man.
You
gotta have a direction, dude.
Right. Yeah. But I think that they now do have a direction. I think that, from when you see the memes that Phil says, look, we listen, we're hearing this. And I think they're tired of hearing that Xbox has no games, even though we know that it's only been a year. But having their own venue, and like Fred said, that I didn't even think about that. That was just perfectly well said, is that they can control the space. They don't have to worry about leaks or anything. That was
spot on, man. When you have a place where you're bringing out your future games, the future titles, we all know software is what makes the money in the gaming industry. And you're renting a space out, and you have kind of like a board over you, the like E3 board that kind of looks over everything. If you can take your stuff out of there, put it into like the building across the street or something, and then all of a sudden you're not underneath that board anymore. You are the enforcement around there, so you control exactly what's going on. I think that's huge. That's probably one of the biggest points made about having Microsoft move over to their own building, man.
Right, and that
Brett makes good points. Vote for Brett.
Listen to Fred. Don't vote for him. The thing of it is that just makes a lot of sense. Because people are talking about they want a leak. They want leaks now. Where's Xbox? Where's the information? I'm nervous. They're not going to show anything. And then we'll have a E3 like, what was it, 2016, where everything was pretty much leaked, except I think for showing that the X was coming or the S was coming, and then it was like it was still a great E3, but of course
prices and everything right before.
Yeah. Right, and then the fact of it was that everybody knew what was going on because of the leaks. Mm-hmm. So, and then you got the people that's like, well, we want to see things 4 or 5 years now down the line.
Yo, Cowboy Redneck on Mixer, my bad. He was like, when we were talking about why they moved over, he's like, in air conditioning. They want air conditioning.
Well, I want some air conditioning too. If I'm going to be in California and it's going to be in the summertime, damn it, I want to have some air too. But no, it's like I'm saying, to me, I see what their approach was because of the scale-bound situation. They don't want to ever have that happen again because that was really bad press. That was
scale-bound. I completely lost any memory there.
That still hurts my soul. But regardless, it was the start of 2017, of a bad 2017 for Xbox. Even though they picked it up at the end, it's just that now I do agree that they should show something. Get the fan base a little bit excited about a couple of things, but don't be showing me some shit from 4 years ago. I still got a lot of games that I got in my back catalog that I got to beat, and you know what I'm saying. But you trying to show me more and more and more and more and more. I don't want you to show me something for 5 years down the line.
2 years, man. That's a good sweet spot.
2 years is a sweet spot. Don't show me some shit like what Kojima's game that is not going to probably be out until the PlayStation 5 comes out.
Well,
probably
if you look
2020.
at it, 2 years out is actually really good because it takes about. On average, now I know every game is different. It depends on artistic ambition and all that good stuff. But like a 3 to 4 year kind of like development cycle for a decent sized studio. So if it's 2 years out, it's already been a year under development. It's well on its way. Mm-hmm. I mean that would be a great kind of like sweet spot when it comes to it. Don, what do you think about that? Because I know you're a fan of showing just basically what's coming by the next E3, but what do you think about like a 2 year kind of like sweet spot to show games?
I would answer back with how about a year and a half, and here's the reason why I say that
delays.
That gives you delays. It gives you all the other stuff that happens. Like my biggest gripe, and this is just me being an old grumpy gamer, right?
Are you a dinosaur?
Well, in some things, yes, but one thing that drives me nuts is we're always showing stuff and it either gets delayed or canceled. If you've been gaming long enough, it's something you've been excited for, that does happen. So that's what excites me about the year and the year surprise, because I know I can count on those games. As far as that, now if you're gonna tell me 2 years, a little further out, but like maybe 2 Christmases, like the Christmas right after E3 and the following holidays, if we can count on that, then I'll be like, okay, that's fine. But I'm the type of guy that I don't lose faith because they haven't showed me what they're doing a year out from now. I just know I'm going to get games. I just don't know what those games are until this E3.
See, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the gaming striptease, man. You gotta let people know that there's more underneath that skirt than the leg that you're seeing right now. That's just my opinion. I think this is something me and Donna are probably just gonna disagree on, like, all the way through this. But
the thing is, we can be friends though still.
Yeah.
And we'll still play the same
I'll
game.
still take you on my fire team in Halo, no doubt, man. Like, we roll.
But that's the thing. I think people are coming from a different perspective. Like, I think some people are more involved in that direct communication with the anti-fan base of Xbox, right? In where they're just trying to pick it apart. And I'm kind of just sick of that fan base picking things apart, because it's unnecessary argument where it's just not very well thought out. So, you're taking ammo away from those people, and you're still going to deliver your games. Obviously, you're spending the money on it. You're just going to deliver it a year out, and I think that's where you get like the whole no games argument too, as well.
With me, one of the things that I looked forward to in E3 before this whole debacle happened. And first off, I want to shout out Skent Eastwood, who said his internet is down. He's actually using his data right now to watch us. So, huge shout out to Skent Eastwood. Dude, I'm saying, and that's from across oceans right there. So I don't even know.
And he said he's gonna vote for K Mega's gameplay too, man. I appreciate that, Skent Eastwood. Real shit,
that's
man.
why he's gonna vote for Xbox, man.
He would never waste his data on that.
But my whole thing, and I think as a developer, you can appreciate this as well. And I'm not saying this would be the majority here, but every E3, I like to see the advancement and what developers are doing to optimize on a closed platform. I like to see, like, the improvements throughout the generation. And when
let me ask you this: so there's a contrary to that, right? So do you
cut me off?
Do you hate seeing the downgrades? Because that has happened this generation quite a bit, where they show something too early and then it gets a downgrade.
At the end of the day, I mean, it depends on the level and everything. Like, all right, there's a certain thing out there. If these companies are purposely doing stuff on ultra beefed up PCs, developing these CG trailers and stuff like that, and then as the game is coming out, you see there's a clear downgrade from what you saw, I don't like that. If it's something that they're doing on purpose and they know that their game's not going to look that way when it's all said and done, that's what I don't like. But if by some rhyme or reason they added a feature, or they decided that they were going to make this map so much bigger or add so many more missions, and to do that they had to tone down on graphics, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's kind of like the idea behind what they're doing.
The perception and the reality are two different things, right? Like, the perception is
if they have a routine,
the reality is
if
never
they have a routine. But if they have a routine of doing this, they look fishy. You see what I'm saying? If that's what they seem to come out with when it's either they're exclusives on a platform, or if it's the development team, every time they come out with a title, they show something like this. Like, if the next Watch Dogs is shown, right? And it's shown to look crazy, and then, getting closer to when that game is released, if there's a huge downgrade, people are going to point right back to Watch Dogs 1, and all of a sudden it's a trend now with that development team. You see what I'm saying? And that's what you got to look for,
what it really is, and then it touches on one of the reasons why I don't like it when they show up, because they're ambitious. Every developer is, right, and they basically have to do optimization. And they have to pull back, and 2-year mark is right at that mark where you kind of like, ooh, there's still changes that can happen as far as all that stuff goes. So, it's about managing that consumer expectation.
So, do the disclaimers at the beginning of these trailers mean anything anymore then, Don? where they're like, "This is still a
I don't
work in
think-
progress."
I
Don't pay attention to
I don't
that
think
shit.
that ever happens, to be honest with you. I mean, it does. The words mean things, but do they hold the weight to the consumers that are watching it?
Well, when I
don't
look
think
at
they
it,
do.
I see that. I'm like, okay, grain of salt time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hold up. I mean, like, there's other ways to do it. Like, you don't have
Yeah.
to actually show gameplay. Like, do like what fucking Nintendo did, Monster Hunter, the fucking black screen or whatever. Not Monster Hunter, but what game was that? Metroid.
Metroid.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's like-
goodness!
It's coming out. Just mention it.
Look
like,
what
do
they
like
did
a
with Smash Brothers on
yeah.
the
Just
direct.
do a teaser. Like, you don't have to show gameplay, because the thing is, if you do a teaser, at least we know it's coming. And then the next E3, they can do actual gameplay, something, But like, there's ways to do it. You don't have to have actual footage of the game. I think what the community, like specifically the Xbox community, is kind of like up in arms about is the fact like we don't know shit. Like, obviously, we know there's a Forza coming because that's every year. We know there's a Halo coming at some point. We don't know when. We know there's a Gears coming. We don't know when. But like, outside of those three franchises,
What
what
else?
the fuck?
What else?
Yeah, it's all rumors at this point, and it wouldn't hurt. I get, like, if it's like 4 or 5 years down the road, don't even talk about
Well,
it. But like,
that's a backlash of what Phil decided that they were going to do with these E3 conferences, right?
exactly. But like, they were announcing games that were like 3 or 4 years out instead of like 2 years out. Well, they already know it's like, with the exception of Scalebound and Fable, which I still think Fable's coming out. I still think Scalebound may come out at some point, but
I do too.
with the exception of those two games, right? You mean to tell me, like, they don't know right now at this exact moment in today's date on fucking March 17th at 7:40 Central Standard Time that they don't know what's coming out in 2 years? Like, how far along they are in the process of those games? They do.
Yeah,
So if they
Well,
know that,
I mean,
then E3
I
in
would-
fucking 2017,
I wouldn't say
2018, they
that's-
can
I
say
wouldn't say
something
that's-
about those games.
I wouldn't say that's true either. Like, was Death Stranding's the Sony game, right?
Yeah.
I know for a fact that game has grown in scale. Like, so they've shown that game several times over and over and over again, and we don't even know it's coming this year. Most likely, it's not.
It's not.
And the main reason why it's not because it keeps growing in scale. They're making it into a bigger game. It was not to knock on it, but it was more of a game at the scale of Record level with pretty graphics. And
Speaking of
so
pretty graphics, this show looks amazing on Mixer, by the way.
it
It
does.
does. It looks a lot better on Mixer. I was
Oh
thinking
my
this.
goodness!
Especially now with Sea of Thieves, it's so much more vibrant. Anyways, but what I'm trying to say is like that is an issue that was going on there as well, where like they changed the scale of the game. They're going to make it a bigger game that's going to be something it's going to appeal to that fan base even more. So things just change. It's unfortunately like game development is such a moving target, and like very big publisher, and you got a formula, and we're talking like formula. We're talking like Call of Duty. That's a formula. And that's all you do is follow that formula and barely tweak anything to it. Then yeah, you can count on those sort of things like clockwork. But if you don't have a formula, you just don't know what they're going to be. So I understand why gamers want to know further out why they invested certain dollars in a particular platform and what they want to expect out of it. My thing is they've already took all the hits on the chin. Like they keep taking those hits on the chin. They've taken it all this year. All right, let's see what they see.
They're
What
not
let's
knocked down yet, man.
look, and then obviously they had plans this E3. Like look at the space. Like they have plans. So let's see what these plans are. I don't think these plans are all Xbox too. Like I think people should keep their expectations a little bit.
That's a great point too, man.
Check on this because like here's the thing is they're gonna cover games that some games you may not even care about as an Xbox gamer.
Oh, definitely.
Or as a core. They're gonna do things that's probably gonna be more directed towards Game Pass. Regardless of where me and Bot are on streaming, they're still going to bring streaming out there. Maybe streaming specific games in regards to that. So, the game division is growing in order to accommodate that. The platform is more than just a dedicated box for Xbox. It's going to be part of them. It's always going to be part of what they do, but it's going to be other things. And talking about mixed reality, you have to have more space if that's a platform. You also, I don't think they're taking a fixed mixed reality kind of skew like PlayStation is, where it's PlayStation makes the headset, and you're good to go. I think they're taking more of like a television approach to mixed reality. They provide the
too.
controller. They provide the controller, but you have a number of displays. You could
HP,
just
Acer, even Oculus for VR.
exactly. They use the standards that Xbox has presented for them, and it's just like you picking out a television. You get what you buy, and you buy the brands that earn your dollar. I think they're going to be approach to AR slash VR. So there's so much like they have to show. For me, I'm not a VR guy. Like the last game I worked on was a VR game, and for home VR, it has zero appeal to me.
I want to see the game I Am Bread in VR. I think that would be a hit, man.
But there are other people that want it, right? So so there's part of that show I guarantee that's not going to be for me because of that. Doesn't mean it's trash. It just means that doesn't apply to me as a consumer. And there's going to be other stuff that will apply to me. So I mean, Xbox is going for a diverse lineup for multiple different platforms, multiple different applications. This is why they have such a big space. I think Phil Spencer's on the board of the governing board that runs E3. So there's a reason why he didn't just do it behind their back. With their blessing, they did this. Mm-hmm. And also, they created more space on the E3 show for all the other third parties out there.
That is true. And that's something that isn't talked about as well. Is they gave more floor room up for the third party developers. But I think what Don said in terms of kind of like beyond Xbox and stuff, with their plans for like the future of gaming, it's almost a no-brainer that we're not just going to see Xbox there, but you're going to see Play Anywhere PC, mixed reality. You're going to see just about everything that the gaming division at Microsoft has to offer. Before, that would have been a perfect segue, but I want to hear what Dark's opinion is about. We'll call it the Xbox building from now until the end of E3. That's why it's got the name Microsoft on it, so we'll call it Xbox building. What do you think about their thought process to go and just take over an entirely different building? And what are you hoping to see there, man? You are the man on the scene. You're over on the West Coast, so what do you think, man?
It's very smart for them to do this. It's
Predators fire gameplay.
Yeah.
Listen to this co-sign.
How come everybody interrupts me every time I talk? Stop doing that shit, damn it!
It makes it sound like you're talking to yourself.
You naturally hold hands with somebody when you go to sleep, man. It's what otters do.
Wow.
All right?
Oh, jeez. But I think what they're doing over there is smart. They need their own space, man. They need their own. And this kind of shows that they're trying to maybe show that the gamers that they want to, that they're trying to give us games that they that they've kind of been hinting at, and they're gonna give us some more gameplay and stuff like that. And I also think that they're also showing that they're trying to open up a space for people who for FanFest. Like last year there was people who didn't get into FanFest, and then come to find out that they had like 15 or 14 people who didn't actually go to get their tickets.
Another great point. These are a couple things I haven't heard anywhere else in the gaming community. More room for FanFest. Showing stuff beyond Xbox.
Isn't that something they've been complaining about for the last 2 years too?
Right.
Like fan base, people think of like
just finish. Jesus.
No.
Right now, man.
No.
He's complimenting you, Dark.
You're gonna ride this wave, Dark. You're gonna ride it to the end of that rainbow. Anyways,
we don't want to talk about the first person the Don's ever said that statement to. Either,
no, we're not going there.
All right.
Anyways, but this is something they've been complaining about 2 years. What do you hear the fan base? The fan base, basically been very hard on Xbox about this. And what do you see? Now they have a solution, a much better solution.
And And I think that that's smart, for them to do that because, there would from what because I know Game Down Sites, he went to FanFest last year. Shout out to him. He went to FanFest last year, and he told me that there was like 15 or 14 people who didn't actually show up to the actual FanFest, and they still had badges for them and everything, and it was just like if you're gonna try to go to FanFest, then go to FanFest. Like don't act like, oh well,
Yeah,
well
I
I'm
can see
I'm
Dark next to the person with the badges, like reading the names. Yes, I am Carlos Santiago.
yeah, like dude, I wanted to go to FanFest last year and I couldn't because it was all sold out. And then all of a sudden I hear about that and I'm all like, what the fuck? Like this is bullshit. Like we and then them coming out and saying that they're having a bigger theater and stuff like that. I was like, dude, awesome. Maybe I'll
Well,
have a chance this time to get into
what
FanFest.
do you think your chances are now, considering
I
they
think
have
it's a
to
lot higher.
they have to fill in all those seats for the
Well,
con?
yeah, I think it's a lot higher chance of people getting into FanFest, and I think that's perfect because I definitely want to go to FanFest this year and I want to meet K Mega, even though me and him fight a lot, but we're still friends,
Once you see me, you'll change your attitude about that.
I'll
Dude,
make you
I'm
change
tall,
that.
bro. So like I ain't no short shit. All right.
You 6'4" tall, baby.
No,
All
I'm
right,
not.
I completely typoed
Can
that
I
chat.
make a quick comment on this topic too that I think about too now?
Mhm.
So another reason why this is good for them to have this stage is like it's good for the media because they don't have to cram everything in on that Monday, because they typically what used to happen was Xbox would go in the morning, right, and then PlayStation would go in the evening, and they have like such a short turnaround time to get any positive media out there for Xbox, right? So now they get a whole day, and I think we kind of touched on this last year on other podcasts, but like they get this whole day to get there. They get some rest before they go to the Sony stage the next day, but like it's good for them to be able to have that Sunday to see the show and then be done with it, get some rest, write all the stuff they need to write, whether it's positive or negative, which usually is negative, and then and then gear up for the next show the next day. Where in the past it was like one after the other, like they were there all fucking day long, And I could typically I could see because there's such a larger fan base of PlayStation guys, I can see them getting tickets just to go because as a Cowboys fan, I see this here in my stadium. People buy Cowboys tickets from other stadiums. They come here because it's Cowboys. Either you love them or hate them, right? So like
America's
they come
team.
here. Yeah, the America's team, but not for half the country, right? So they buy tickets to come to our stadium and they boo the Cowboys at home,
But
because
that's the thing. I think it's not really people are going to boo them. I think they're really just trying to stop fans from actually going to these type of events.
well,
Like
yeah, but at the E3
that's why
conference,
they buy those
typically, like
tickets.
you can get like a mixed bag of fans, right? They're
Right.
there just to troll, Whereas this, I think it's gonna be if you're going to the Xbox show on Sunday, you're not there to troll. You're there as a fan.
But Pred, that goes back to what you were saying about the whole control situation, because that's exactly what I took from it when you talked about them having control over the floor, everything like that. It overall, with them having their own spot and being in charge of their own spot, there's going to be more of a positive Xbox vibe
Exactly.
than being like entrenched with all the other companies on one floor, third party, all the craziness that's going on in the middle of the actual E3 building. The building that the traditional E3 is put in.
Yeah, because the hardcore Xbox guys are gonna go to the Sunday show, right?
Yeah.
In the past, like you would get just hardcore fans in general of gaming, and they may have a preference towards one or the other, and they'd wait in line to get in there for all the conferences, right?
We love you too, Gizmo, a mixer. Just saying.
So I think this is a better way from, like I said, control the media, control the people. Like it's the first rule of security. You pick your place. You don't let someone pick your place for you.
When it's all said and done, it's really interesting. It seems like there's more hype and there's more excitement now when it comes to Xbox E3. I know I was already excited because I think Phil kind of learned his lesson in terms of having to tease what's going on, past a year. And I think they're going to do that at this E3. I can't wait to see how they put it out there, how they present it. But there is one more topic, and we're kind of getting short on time. I really want to tackle this because this is the main event here. It has come out that Microsoft has developed a cloud gaming division, and the head of the cloud gaming division, I believe his last name is either Chowdhury or Cowdry, Choudry, did an interview with, of course, Big Game Media, and was talking about how Microsoft is expanding their idea of games to go beyond the Xbox console. The funny thing within all this, before I really get into detail, is as he was saying this, he was talking about options the next, 2 paragraphs down, saying as an option, with the console. So there are people out there saying, the Xbox console is done, they're going straight to streaming and all this good stuff. But at the end of the day, they're talking about a streaming service when it comes to games that can spread across and be played on multiple devices. They've been messing around with this along with a bunch of other companies within the gaming industry as well. And I want to hear what the next panel thinks about this. We're going to start with Dark, and we're going to go down the panel. Dark, main event, you're getting the first kind of slot to share your opinion on what the hell do you think Microsoft is doing with Xbox? Does this sound like a good idea to you? A bad idea? What's going on, man?
I didn't actually get the chance to read the article, but I mean,
Next!
from what it sounds like, it might. From what it sounds like, it might be a good thing. I'm kind of interested to see what they do with that, but I think, it's just.
Are you going to congratulate me though?
Congratulate you on what?
Dude, I've been saying this for a year now.
No, yeah, you have. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's that's the thing. You're pretty much the only one in the community that I've heard say stuff about this, and
I was just saying this last night on the GRG podcast.
Hey, Mega! God damn it! No, I just think it could potentially be something good, but it's just gonna take some time to see how they really implement it and stuff like that.
Skint in the chat in the YouTube chat says just come up with new IPs, job done. And I
think it's a little bit more than that.
How are you gonna do that though? This is the whole thing. When it comes to no games, first of all, we had one bad year. All right. Every other year before that, I have been thoroughly satisfied to be an Xbox gamer. But with that being said, Phil Spencer had a plan out, and he talked about this repeatedly. He did 2 of the 3 things. The third thing being an entire focus on games, getting new games out there, new IPs, stuff like that.
Love it. Yes. Ram Nation stand up, baby. Cowboy fans to the
Vogel
dust.
hit up the super chat again, and he said that Predator just lost his gameplay vote for being a Cowboys fan.
Yes, vote for K Mega. Go ahead.
Why Mega? What football team is your football team? Let everybody know.
Tell us your football team.
Go ahead.
No question.
No, you're the one out there asking for the vote because Pred lost him because he's a Cowboys fan. So why don't you go ahead and tell Vogel?
This is the reason why our podcast goes so long all the time.
Yeah.
But
okay. I'll plead the fifth until I get my boy Vogel's vote. Then I'll tell him.
He's a Rams fan.
Yep.
Shut up! I am a Rams fan. Rams for life.
Be proud,
I can't deny it. I'm proud of my Rams.
I'm a Giants fan.
I'm proud to be a Rams fan too, man. I'm a Rams fan. Shit.
Yo, we'll see you later, Fox. Thank you for stopping in. Don, what do you think about this move, man? People have been telling me I'm crazy that, at the end of the day, Sony and Xbox want to go to a streaming service. Now, I know they've come out and said that they're not gonna, like, the Xbox is gonna be around, quote unquote, for years. So that's not saying forever, all right? That's saying for years. So, 4 or 5 years down the line, maybe. But what do you think, Ben?
I think Sony and Xbox are on different pages on this one. I think Sony wants to go to a completely streaming service down the road. Xbox just wants to have it subsidized. They just want to have it. They're going to have a streaming. They're going to have a hybrid system. They're going to have all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be the main. I just don't think it's going to be. Now, doesn't mean they're not going to do a streaming service. But streaming service, this is what I've said before, and it's 100% true, is the economics are just different, right? Streaming, you have to pay for servers, you have to pay for electricity to run it.
What if you own your own servers? That you
but
have to pay for maintenance.
You still have to buy them. They didn't magically appear.
Yeah, I know,
right?
but they're using these servers.
It still costs money,
which they are making money on the business side of things, other than gaming as well. When it comes to the server,
it doesn't matter. It costs money. It costs approval from cities to get the proper bandwidth to run them, where you can actually have them located, and all that sort of stuff. So the economics are just simply different. Is there money can be made there? Sure. Is it the primary, income? I don't think so. Economically, it just doesn't make any sense until power becomes free and air conditioning is free and all these other things, and it doesn't cost anything to buy servers or maintain them or pay people over $100,000 at a minimum just to do maintenance on them.
I would love to see the difference in price when it comes to research, development, and manufacturing of a console as compared to maintaining server farms.
Building a server farm from the ground up to actually having it all good to go, like what Azure is way more expensive than it is developing a console.
The server farm is also making profit in many different categories other than gaming as well for that company.
I understand that, but that's called low-hanging fruit is what that is.
I have low-hanging fruit. I don't
very low-hanging fruit. People, though. I don't want to hear about your grape smugglers. I'm just saying. But the thing is, there is money to be made there, right? Like and this is where me and Xbox disagree, right? But I think where me and
this
Xbox
is our biggest argument.
But an area where I think me and Xbox will both agree is there is money to be made there. There's a reason to do it.
Yes.
Right. So, and that's where I'm kind of saying now. For the people that listen to our show or people that go to like an IGN and stuff like that, and this is not just service, right? Like there's other services they're in charge of. They're in charge of your game saves. They're in charge of having games being available digitally. All that sort of stuff. They run all that stuff. So it's not just streaming games is what they run.
Just cloud computing as well.
Cloud computing, they're in charge of that too as well. So cloud computing, I think, is the biggest gains where these server farms really can take gaming to the next level. Because the reason why is CPUs have just slowed down as far as development goes. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest bottleneck you're running into with developing new hardware. I mean, GPUs are going to go leaps and beyond. They're going to be able to continue to get better. But CPUs are just kind of being bottlenecked. And what cloud computing does really well is you ever see like the small equations like on a college campus, this is the equation, okay, now figure it out, and they'll have to take up the whole entire chalkboard to kind of do all the workout to find the answer.
Yeah. And
the answer is like 4.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what cloud compute does really, really well. It does that sort of stuff. It's a small question sent, quite a bit of quantifiable data has to be processed, and a small amount of information has to come back.
Hey, Don.
That's where cloud compute does really well.
Don, with you saying that, and I'm not disagreeing with you here. I feel like cloud computing, when it comes into next generation, because I think this generation was more or less kind of like the warm-up to what's coming next generation. Can you imagine something with the architecture of the Xbox One X with a Ryzen CPU, a new architecture from AMD with the GPU structure, and then having cloud computing taking care of like the skyboxes and stuff like that to games. Can you imagine how much crazier games are gonna look and run on that next system, man?
Well, let me give you a perfect example. So take Sea of Thieves, right? Like a lot of what they do is done in the cloud and just kind of seamless. You don't really know, and there's obviously a lot of stuff's done locally. Imagine not only having the water that you see in Sea of Thieves, but actually have true water particles come up out of the waters, truly spray up in the air, and then come back down and form back into the water.
This gameplay, man. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's the type of stuff that you can do with cloud computing.
Is that new gameplay?
Yes, it is.
So you're showing more than one gameplay?
Oh no, it's the same one. It's on the loop, dude.
Because I was going to say I'll change the game on y'all's asses. I'll make it dirt.
Unlike you. All right, what? This is gameplay that I played in between last show and this show.
What? Man, I'm trying to save y'all, but still, my old gameplay still holds its own. Anyway, go ahead.
No, what is going on?
This is one of my favorite shows to date. By the way, I just want to let people know that.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get where I'm saying, like, you can do so much more with everything, and on the hybrid and where Xbox is going with all that stuff, it makes a big difference. I don't think the acquisition of Polygon is a big part of it, but if you take Havoc and you combine that with cloud compute, you can do some pretty crazy stuff.
All right. Well, we got you on that. We do want to go down the rest of the panel here. So, Mega, I know this has been kind of like the big topic for the week. It's something everybody's talking about on Twitter. The podcast before ours throughout the week have been talking about this as well. Mm-hmm. But what do you think, man? Future of gaming, is it beyond the Xbox console? And do you think, like I do, that like once we get 5 years into this whole thing, if this streaming service is the one making the most money out of the gaming industry, then that's going to be front and center moving forward. And I just feel like the gamers and the consumers out there, just kind of like what it was with Always Online beginning of this generation, they might not necessarily see it yet, but when it gets to that point, it's going to be like, oh yeah, this shit is awesome, no brainer. Let's move with this.
Well, yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's and what Don is even adding to this, it should give console lovers even more excitement because of the fact that they're saying that it's cheaper to make consoles. So if Xbox, because Killer Phil has said himself that they're still going to stay committed to doing this, and this is a different division. That's a part of what's going on with Xbox. So you would think that what they want to do is they want to touch on all fronts. This is, this rhetoric that's saying that you're going to be playing, hardcore exclusives off the Xbox on a PlayStation or Nintendo is absolutely ridiculous. We was going in full detail about this on GRG last night, but let me just say this. Let me just read this part. Not what I went in with the numbers of how many mobile phones and tablets was going on. People can look that up for themselves. But there was something here that I don't think people really understood. There was a guy that spent like $70,000 on a mobile game. And it was on you go check it, the Wall Street Journals and Rolling Stone is everywhere, right? And so this guy, he's playing this game called Fate Grand Order, and he spent $500 at one time to build his character. This is a mobile game. But what was so amazing about this is that this is a PlayStation or a Sony made game. This is Sony's game, and it's their most profitable game. And you don't hear anybody talking about this, but if Sony is already doing this and start getting into the mobile market, then what makes you think that Xbox or you see Nintendo's already getting into the market with Pokemon Go? This is the future of where gaming is finna go because of the fact that it's like for my old lady right now, it's making money. My old lady is in the front room right now playing on her phone and watching TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing: Candy Crush makes more money than most exclusive on any platform, right?
Exactly.
So, but it doesn't mean those type of games go away. That's what I'm trying, because people always try to like if it's this way, then everything else is going to fall and everything's going to go. No, there's going to be games like that. There's going to be games on that service, but when there's still millions of dollars to be made the traditional way, people are still going to make those games.
Right.
And people are still going to push that medium forward. So it's no reason to freak out just because there's another type of game for a different type of consumer that's not necessarily us. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but I think a lot of people are very reactionary. I just don't get that.
It's almost like, I mean, they don't think, they're not thinking logically. They're not broadening their horizons. They're looking just straight ahead. And because of what PlayStation is doing in the console space by having the most consoles sold, they're just thinking that, oh, well, that's exactly where they're going to go. They want to suit to those fans. No. Console space, when you look at it, is small fries compared to what's going on with tablets, with mobile phones, PCs. There's a hell of a lot more of those out there than there are consoles, because John's consoles change generations. And so they got to get more powerful in order to keep up with the Joneses. And then that's why Nintendo is doing what they're doing. They want to hold on to the console space, because if they got away with pretty much, to a lot of people, murder by basically bringing a cheaper console that doesn't provide the power that the PlayStation or the Xbox will be doing. So it's like to them, well, we can still stay in this space and still bring in and still generate a lot of money, while PlayStation and Xbox has got to, try to catch up with the PC crowd, because gamers want to see the biggest, the better, the most prettiest looking games that they want to see. You know what I'm saying? So that's, to me, is like, if you can get controller support and you can stream games onto cell phones. I mean, we just seen on the Twitter, Mooch was just saying that he's amazed how Fortnite is playing on his cell phone. He's tripping out.
That's because he loves his iPhone, but that's a different story.
He does love that sucker.
You're praising it. So that's right there. Just think, if you can play this, say if you got a laptop or a tablet, and you're away somewhere and you can stream Halo 6 or Fable or Sea of Thieves or any PlayStation game, whatever that you want to, you can stream that, and it has controller support. That's all you need. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That kind of qualifies.
That's the idea, because
that's where it's going.
This is where Bot's argument holds some weight. Is a console is a gateway to get somebody onto that ecosystem.
My comments hold weight like a 500-pound gorilla, man.
No shit.
No. But basically your console is it is the price of admission to get in to actually start and play a game. And after you have that, then you can actually buy the stuff. What happens if you have basically Play Anywhere, and you buy something and you own it, even if you're streaming to your television, playing on your Xbox down the road, so you're not an Xbox customer and you decide to buy an Xbox, then you get the premium experience when you play it on your Xbox. So there's room there for people that maybe not looking for the best possible experience. Maybe they're not looking for a 4K experience. Maybe they want to just try out Halo because their buddy has a Halo and they don't want to buy a console. That's where this stuff is really going to do really, really well. And it's a gateway that actually helping people go into it, because there is going to be a difference between the performance, what you get from streaming, and what you're going to get from local hardware.
Right.
So, I mean, you're not going to get a like-for-like experience. It's just not going to happen. It's just not technically possible. But you can get close.
I believe they had, at one point in time, Battlefield 1 streaming to a phone that was running very, very well using an Xbox controller hooked up via Bluetooth, and everything was running well. So,
but Bot, you got to look at it from this standpoint, though, too, that this technology, streaming technology, is not nowhere close to being where a lot of people thinking it is.
Away. I'm saying,
I think it's further than that. I think it's further than that, because look, you go to hold on. Let me make this point. Yeah, let me make this point. Okay, like for crap is one of the main people that's like, right? He sounds like that Captain Caveman.
I love crap, man. I love not
really
agreeing
with
him, man, because it's a challenge to go back and forth with crap. Yeah.
No, I love crap. Crap is a really good guy, regardless of what the haters say. He's a great guy, but the fact of it is, he's stuck in the Stonehenge with Porter Rock. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call him Barty Rubble, because they think that this type of gaming lifestyle is still relevant, and it's not. This gaming is going to another plateau, and even though I do agree that gaming
dinosaurs
should
not apply, man.
Well, what I'm saying is that consoles should still be in the forefront for at least another 10 years before they really start implementing, trying to do away with the consoles. But the fact of it is that in where Craps areas is, and out here in where I'm at in Oklahoma, there's a lot of rural areas, and there's in some places that's just now getting 56 megabits a second on internet. Right. So if you're trying to stream,
but that's
not going to work for them.
Relevant to the conversation, I would honestly say, because
hold on 1 second, because I see people in the chat. I see people talking about on Twitter as well, talking about more like 10 to 20 years, talking that internet speed and connections aren't good in some places right now, which is those have to be good for this to take off. No, they don't. No, they don't. The highest populations are in cities, and that's where the highest bandwidth and
Delilah HD is. Yeah, Delilah HD has already got fiber wire, and you know what I'm saying, she's running 800-900 up and down right now. Like that's why I said, don't call yourself HD, call yourself fiber.
All right, check this out. To become solely streaming, and I apologize if you're living in one of those areas that has crappy internet right now, but to become solely streaming, then those areas have to be situated. That is true. At least the majority of them. It's not going to be 100%. It's not going to be every single region has so much internet speed and everything's all good. It's not going to be like that for them to go solely to that. But the majority, a high percentage, gets fixed. But for it to take off, you already have the highest populations in places where the internet is there. Where it's there, guys. So when it comes down to that, that's why Phil Spencer said 2 to 3 years before a streaming service. Once that comes out, they're going to see how it does in those markets, those bigger markets. Does it take off or not? And if it does, they're also going to work with internet service providers and stuff like that across the country to also help build, the internet infrastructure everywhere. And as they're doing that, I predict that they will slowly move away from having that standard box in your home.
Everybody's going to do that, though. Nintendo's going to be the last one to do it. But
here's the technical reason. Let me chime in here. So, one of the technologies that makes even possible, right? Even possible, is what they call predictive rendering. What will happen is the server will render multiple frames in advance. They'll predict, like, okay, he has the option hitting the A button, the B button, hitting the left stick, right stick, moving up or down, and they try to buff out every 3 frames. So basically, you're doing 10 to literally 50 times the rendering to just stream something to a device to actually have remotely okay play response. That's why I say, like, the thing is just, it's cheaper to make hardware and put it in the homes. Now, it doesn't remove the barrier if you allow people to stream. Sure. Are some people going to take the option? Absolutely. Are they going to have a disadvantage? 100%. They're going to always have a disadvantage if you're streaming versus playing on local hardware. There's no way around that. But as long as all markets are viable, you continue to make money in those markets. They're not going to ditch one for the other.
No.
Simply is not. $1 million is $1 million, and they can wipe $1 million, wipe their ass with $1 million, but there's still
profit just because you're making $2 billion over there. You're taking your $2 billion plus that $1 million and putting it all in your pocket, pretty much.
Exactly.
Watch this K-Mega legendary gameplay in gears.
Hold on. On that note, let me shout out Brian Baker, because like with talking about the streaming and stuff like that, he's like, I'm just saying again, they can't even keep 11 plus people in a party chat. Good luck with streaming.
It's true.
That.
Let me chime in real quick, because I think I'm the only person that hasn't gone on this.
Yeah, you were the one that's going to bring it home, man. So.
Am I? Okay. I can see them. I can see them doing both. Like, I don't see the point of them just kind of like, abandoning the console space for the, the streaming space.
Okay, Mega.
Oh my goodness.
So,
so
you fucked me up with that.
Man, two men whispering in each other's ear. It's not right. Just stop.
That deserves a couple more thumbs up, people.
Oh my goodness.
I can see a space where, you get your Xbox, and you get a subscription, whatever, for a streaming service, to go along with the, your online or whatever. So, imagine like right now, like I have, I don't know if anybody knew this or not, but like I have a Spectrum cable here in Texas, right? But like it's an app on the Xbox. It's only on the Xbox. You can get it on your TVs, like Samsung TVs as well too, but it's only on the Xbox and on the PlayStation. So I don't need a cable box in my other rooms that have an Xbox in there. I can watch cable through my Xbox and stream it in 4K. What's that?
But they still have cable boxes. Is that?
Yeah, they still have cable boxes though. But like, I technically don't need one. But the only reason I have one in the living room now is because it has a DVR on it, which I'm still waiting on Xbox to come out with. So at some point in time, like cable boxes may go away, and we can use these devices, Xboxes, whatever, to stream cable like we're doing right now. And that's all you need. You don't need the fucking coax cable in the back. Or weird thought. I said this like 2 years ago. One of these days, you're gonna get an Xbox system with a fucking coax input on there. Mark my words. But we don't want that, right? We're trying to be wireless, not touching that shit. Once the infrastructure is there for us to stream, I can see us going forward with that. But that time is not now. Like I've been deployed 13 fucking times. I can tell you from experience, trying to game in a deployed environment with the network that we have in the military sucks. You sometimes you can't even get online just to stream the internet, just to fucking check Facebook, yet alone game. So that we're whiles away from that. But the infrastructure has to get better, and in some places, like, we're getting fiber and stuff like that, like Mega was saying about the Lyle HD a while ago, but like that's in small percentages of the country. Like the whole entire country is not ready for that yet. But it's coming. So there's nothing wrong with preparing for that now versus trying to catch up to it later. And I'm commending every company that's looking forward to that. A lot of these games that I'm going to play, if I do the streaming thing, the games I'm going to play are definitely not going to be on online games. It's going to be on like the single player experiences, et cetera, et cetera. But like that portion of gaming is just for the hardcore. Us hardcore guys, we're going to still get our console because it's going to be an option.
All right. Guess what? I'm going to bend with you guys. All right. And this is how far I am going to bend. I can see where you guys are coming from. And even when, and I'm saying when, the streaming service, the profit margins just become so much bigger than the traditional console and how you make money there. They're still going to come out with at least a set-top box that has something in terms of downloading the game and possibly adding some power to it on the side when playing it natively on that box. That's how far I'm going to go. But at the end of the day, I think once these streaming services kind of overtake in the profit margin, that becomes that corporation's baby, and everything else is kind of like the niece or cousin, nephew. You see what I'm saying? It's not necessarily the front and center thing. They could keep it on. They could definitely keep it on. As long as what Don said, it's profitable, then there's no reason to cut it. But if by some rhyme or reason manufacturing costs and everything put it into the point where it's in the yellow, don't think that they wouldn't have meetings at least to discuss seriously about cutting off the console part of it and just moving along with
I think that's fair to say with any business where it being on the yellow. Let's say like the opposite is true. Say like the streaming ends up being in the yellow and ends up costing them more of the money than they're making back. They'll cut that off too as well. I mean, companies just simply do that. I just don't think they're the fear of. I don't think we're in the fear of that. And I think people that want to do streaming, like here, tell you what, Xbox, I'll tell you what. If streaming becomes the mainstream, I'll pay for your service for a year, like in 5 years. I'll pay for your service, and then
all right, 5 years.
If I win, you buy my next console. Simple as that.
Oh,
I could deal with that.
That motherfucker gonna be $600 though.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think you're making out on that a little too well. But
you're saying the future is that. So I'm
confident.
I'll pony up.
Well, I think the one thing
How
that you
the
guys
hell
is
is
also
K-Mega
forgetting
in the lead right now?
because look at their game. Look at this. It's old
Soccer
gameplay,
counts.
but it's
stock accounts, man.
Fire.
Are people voting?
Well, it's only 7 votes right now. We've been averaging like anywhere like over 50, close to 100 per week.
K-Mega's been winning.
About
but that's
86, and I'm only getting about 15 of those votes. Yeah,
because Pred, you just don't try hard enough. Anyway, listen, the thing is that I think we forget about the elephant in the room. I know Pred didn't like that too much.
You should take a deep breath.
The elephant in the room is still net neutrality, because you have to look at that as well. Until that mess gets fixed,
true.
Yeah, that's
people are not going to pay extra for streaming if you still have to pay for different venues or with your online service. So that's another reason why this is not coming anytime soon, because even if whatever happens with another president or whatever, regardless, we don't know, the situation is going to still take time for them to correct. And so, and I know it's not still implemented. I think it'll come in June, but the fact of it is that that's still a big monster that needs to be addressed. And like Pred said, like a lot of people are saying, is that the online infrastructure is just not it's just not ready in the US. I mean, this is not Japan. This is not some other place. This is not Dubai. This is United States. And the infrastructure for super duper internet, it sucks. You know what I'm saying? It's great in certain areas and metropolitans, but when you look at it from a standpoint from going out to rural areas, or even in some areas that is in metropolitan, it's still in their low income areas, that shit sucks. It's garbage. So until it all gets caught up, this is just a topic that's going nowhere, because it's not going to happen no time soon.
Well, the strange thing is, so like the best service right now is PlayStation Now, regardless if you like the service or not. And one of the best internets you can get is Google Fiber. I've played that combination together. It's not even close, not even remotely close to what it's like just playing a game. And some people may not care. Like, there's some people that don't care how low the latency is on their television. There's some people that will spend half a day trying to figure out what television to buy just based on that, right? So there's a consumer base that will take this as an option. But that's not the people that we talk to on an everyday basis. They're just a different group of people, and that's the reason why they're trying to reach the 2 billion mark, right? Whatever gamers are, because there are potential gamers out there. Like, you don't need an Xbox One X to play Tetris. You don't need that. You don't need much at all to play some sort of puzzle game that reaches to a totally different audience that doesn't play Call of Duty. So gaming is ever expanding, and there's all sorts of different markets for these type of games that are out there, and there's money being made for these companies. So
to me it's just interesting, like with any industry, pretty much anything in life, you can go business, you can go sports, you can go just about anywhere. An evolution always happens, and it's just weird to see that within the gaming industry, when you see signs of an evolution, when it's going like maybe beyond a set piece of hardware, not discluding the set piece of hardware, but moving beyond, how there seems to be such a backlash in the gaming industry. How are we expecting to move forward? Here's
the thing. I think the hybrid model, because there's two things. There's the dedicated and streaming argument, and there's the hybrid model, which was like cloud compute. I don't think anyone's really seeing anything tangible that they can put their finger on that's cloud compute, and that's something different than I ever done before. But they talk
streaming service as well within that article as a main point. Like, I hear what you're saying in terms of cloud compute, and I think that's going to be a great thing. Anytime you take processes off of the hardware and are able to do them in a separate place and have them come down, if it's done well, it adds to what you can do with that hardware that's sitting next to your TV or whatnot. I'm all for that, no problem. But when it comes to a streaming service, people hear streaming service and it's all doom and gloom. And it's like, guys, look at the bigger picture sometimes. Stop looking so kind of like locally at your life, and look at like gaming in general and how much could benefit in general. Therefore, pushing forward your local like gaming experience as well. Because like everybody said, I think everybody's in agreement here that they're not dropping consoles tomorrow.
No,
you know
I don't think they ever will, and that's where we'll probably have a difference of opinions.
Well,
but
I think our similarity is it's not at least not anytime soon. Like I'm
No,
talking like
it's
5
not.
years down the
For a
line
while.
is
no,
when,
I say 10. I say 10.
well, I'm saying 5 years down the line is kind of like when their ideology will start switching. I'm not saying that all of a
The
sudden
new
5 years.
Xbox is coming out in the next couple of years,
Dude,
and the life cycle for that console is going to go at
But see,
least
that's what I'm
5 to
see,
7
you're-
years
you're
on that.
coming in and saying what I'm saying anyway. Is
Okay.
I'm saying that I picked the middle of next generation basically, and I did that for a reason because they're not just gonna all of a sudden cut everything off and say, well, guess what? Screw it, it's all streaming now. Fuck everybody. That's not how this stuff works. So if they do it in the middle of the generation, like they're still weighing everything out, and they could come out with a console the generation after that. But what I'm saying is eventually that streaming service is going to overtake in terms of profit margins, overtaking kind of like a mindset within the corporation that the streaming service is number one above all. All right.
well, here's the other part of that argument, right? Like the experience has sucked up until right now, like, and it's not anything new. So that's where people I think push back. It's not just their internet locally; it's just the experience has not been good. What has been out there, period. It's a backward step, and so I think that's where the pushback comes from. It comes straight from personal experience or somebody they know that has had a bad experience on the service. And so until enough people can say, hey, I've had a great experience and it's better than nothing, then it's going to continue to go that way. It's just how it's going to be.
Shout out to Louis Bevins out there in the world of Twitter who tweeted underneath the poll for gameplay. He said K-Mega needs new gameplay. The Don and Pred was good too. So like Mega, they're saying you need new gameplay besides what you showed today.
Yeah, I said I'm giving you guys a bone. I just came. I worked like
Time to Forza.
Look, man. Oh, so people don't like Forza? I mean, people don't like, you know what I'm saying, Spec Ops?
Don't you mean Forza?
I don't say that no more. I don't say it no more.
Hey, man, they don't like old ass 720p captured Forzas.
This is old gameplay. This is very old gameplay. But the fact of it is that
I don't think it's old gameplay. I think it's gameplay. He's just making it seem like it's old gameplay.
No, this is old gameplay.
That's the way it's not old.
I've seen this gameplay before.
Yeah,
That's why
I brought this on Next Podcast before. Many moons ago.
K-Mega, this is actually not old gameplay because I see that Danny Boy has his new icon where you can actually customize your icon on your Xbox, so it has to be more recent.
No, it's not recent. Bot just told you this.
I've seen it before, man.
Yeah,
but when did it let us change our icon?
Mega, I wasn't saying anything. I was just keeping that to myself. But I had to use it to actually defend you, man, which is weird, yo.
I know, but this is. I said this. I told you guys in the beginning of the show that this was old gameplay. I'm giving you guys a bone.
Yo, look at Brian Baker in the chat. A vote for K Mega is a vote for.
Oh, no. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Hold on, let me see this.
Don't say it. Don't go there, man.
Yeah, I know. I stopped, man. I stopped.
Don't say it out
You're
loud.
the one that was thinking out loud.
Oh, damn you, Baker. You better have your ass on Halo night tonight, man.
Well, guys, if we get more sponsors, I should say, when we get more sponsors, I actually have a special Brian Baker emoji that's ready to come out on the next round of emojis once we build up the sponsorship level just a little bit more. I think it's just a couple more people we need until I could put 5 more emojis down for our sponsors. So that's going to be fun. I can't wait for that. At the end of the day, man, I think this is an interesting topic. I love hearing everybody's opinion, and I think one of the best things about this show is
it's 8:30. We went that long tonight.
Yeah, the panel. Okay. I think you guys know how to express your opinion, but then how to back it up with some common sense. So that is
awesome. So okay, you know what, Brian? You better have your ass on GRG and be my sponsor too for that comment.
Sponsor.
Yes, you better bring your ass over there, and you better be on Halo night tonight so I can shoot you.
But on that note, man,
everybody knows me. It goes to that.
We gotta let our supporters go. We do go live on a Saturday night, and I know Saturdays.
That's
man,
awesome.
We got a game. I know everybody out there. Thank you for all the support. So many people watching. We actually hit a record today on Mixer in terms of how many people are watching on Mixer. So huge shout out to everybody over there on Mixer. Lucifer. I got Kiwi Overkill is a new follower of the Mixer channel, as well as Pope Lowly, I believe the name is. And if I butchered that, I really do apologize. But huge shout out to the Mixer fam, of course the YouTube fam who has been here from the beginning, and we got to do our outro. So Dark, why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you, send random otter gifts and stuff like that. So let them know, man.
I'm waiting for it. Okay, Mega's gonna do it. Do it already,
It might have passed, man. It might have passed him. But now you're asking for it. He's throwing
you guys
vomit from a bucket, man.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Animus. You can also find me on Xbox Live at the same name. You can also check me out every Thursday night on the Quest Podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. You guys can always check me out here, doing part-time, full-time, work over here.
Dude, I gotta say, there it is.
Oh, shit.
I was just waiting for you to finish this time.
Oh, Vogel coming through with the Sonic emoji. That's one of my favorites, too, by the way. Yo, Pred, again, I hope you don't think you're going to get snubbed for that gameplay. You bring something original to the table each and every day. You don't recycle old gameplay like certain people. So why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you and tell you how good your gameplay is, man?
A gameplay
also doesn't show penis demons either. So
I'm gonna do that on Twitter.
I got Persona 5. I'm about to show it. I'm about to show it.
So I tried to predict during the week what we're gonna discuss. I thought we might get into some of the the back compact games this week, and so I did some Ghost Recon. So I tried to kind of predict what we're gonna talk about with the gameplay. And shut up, Mega. I know you did that.
I didn't do that. I don't know who did. I think that was the Don.
Yeah, and I try to bring something new every week. So I don't want to use the same gameplay every other week, and I'm not bashing the other guys on the podcast to do that. Megan, but I do try to bring new gameplay. I think I'm the only person that's brought new shit every single week. I give you out new gameplay. That's why.
What are you talking about? I bring new gameplay all the time.
But you only bring the same game every time.
You guys only been here for 3 months. Wow. Y'all ain't been doing shit. I've been holding it down since this damn podcast been here.
And now I'm here.
Oh,
now I'm here.
All right.
Oh.
Get your lane. All right. Let me do my outro.
Yeah, go ahead. Hurry up. You've been yapping for too damn long.
Well, I mean, you want gameplay footage. You get the sponsor for that. So, let me talk. So, Predator_HOS on Jesus Christ, on Xbox, on PlayStation. I'm on Switch as well. Make sure you follow my YouTube and my Twitter channel. And I'll catch you guys here next week. Hopefully, I should be here next week. I definitely will not be here the week after that. So I will still put gameplay footage out there. So don't think y'all getting I'm slacking off on that one.
So there you go. He's still gonna bring the gameplay even when he's not here. Freaking awesome. And yeah, guys, Noni Kuni gameplay is allowed. Any game is pretty much allowed. I have found ways around was it Konami trying to claim stuff and everything like that. I have found ways around that. They can't read the gameplay, so it's all good. As long as you're a gamer on this panel, and even special guests are, they get the offer. If they want to submit gameplay, they can as well. Which our special guest season is coming up soon, and the next couple weeks I got more announcements on that. But Don, why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you and tell you to there's a mixed crowd here when it comes to your dancing toad, man. Some people absolutely love it. I saw a couple people on Mixer saying get rid of it. Let them know where they can get a hold of you.
Some people that were showing some guns. They were being violent.
What, did they be violent in the mixer about it?
Yeah, man. There were some people showing some guns saying they need to kill the frog, but I don't know, man. I don't know who would do that.
I don't know. But yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is the Don_KTR on Twitter. And if you follow me there, then you should be able to basically follow me when I'm doing gameplay, I'm doing something on my channel, whatever it may be. That's the best way to kind of keep in the loop what I'm doing. And yeah, that's about it.
Nice. And for some reason, I hear Don's voice in the kitchen, and it's completely throwing me off right now. Mega, like I said, the most hated opinions out there on social media and YouTube. Why don't you let people know where they can go and voice their displeasure for what you personally think about things, man?
Yeah, man, you can catch me on Twitter at KMega4. You can come to my channel on YouTube, which is KMega405. You can also come and check us out on the GRG podcast on every Friday night after Crossfire. It's 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. For the game-winning gameplay, if that's what you really want to see, always check out the Next Podcast, because K-Meg is always going to deliver, even if it's old gameplay. Even if I have to do a crap and recycle a little bit, because a man was working hard and he just
Don't roll for that dog shit.
Are you gonna do some Knack? Are you gonna do some Knack gameplay? Is that what you're gonna do?
No. You know what? I do have Knack. I have Knack. I need.
No, somebody's got to go old school and bring Oregon Trail gameplay. I think that would win.
You know what? Next week's gameplay is going to be disgusting, and Predator is going to probably not show up. So let's just because I'm going to be stupid sick with it next week. Anyway, Halo Night will be tonight for GRG game night, and then after that we can play whatever. It could be fighting, sports, or whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna be playing games all damn night. So, and we'll be streaming. So if Bot, you want to come and get your head tore off, that's fine with me.
Is Lemon gonna be there?
Why are you scared of Lemon?
I'm not scared of Lemon, man.
Put Lemon on your team, so Lemon's a teddy bear. So let Lemon be on your team, so he can talk a lot of trash to me, so I can go ahead and I can kill him, and he'll shut up. So don't worry about that.
You see, I throw that out there live on the show, man. There's no shame in my game. I don't even care. Like, I'll ask right off the bat.
Yeah. So anyway, again, thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with us, man. We definitely love your support. I'll be the host, man. We about to get the hell out of here. But you go ahead and you us out, man. You know what I'm saying? K-Mega405 is out. We love you guys. Oh, snap suckers. Keep peddling those cookies, because K-Mega need a couple of cookies herself. All right, we out. Peace.
All right. Yo, on that note, Vogel on the super chat once again, he said #Angry Otter does not play games, and that's why he has no gameplay this week. And Vogel, you are absolutely right.
Not wrong.
On that note,
he's definitely not wrong.
On that note, guys, tune in next Saturday. I got to talk with the panel, but there's a topic I'm thinking of. I'll throw it out right now, and hopefully the panel will agree that it's something to talk about. Is the mobile gaming structure invading consoles and basically kind of like a virus, man? Is it hurting console gaming? So that's what I want to talk to these guys about next Saturday. So tune in and see if everybody agrees that this is a topic we should talk about. Let me know on Twitter if you think that is a good topic and your opinions. It is at Xbot448. And don't forget to vote for the best gameplay, Xbot448.
Dude, that's such a lie. We're talking about if you wear a bathrobe or corduroys, and that's considered fashion.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. His ass is chafe. He wears corduroys.
On that note, guys, like I say, every Saturday, huge shout out to everybody who supports this show, everybody who supports my channel, and everybody's channel / social media on this panel. We appreciate it. You guys inspire us to do this every Saturday. And on that note, we will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
A vote for Xbox 448 is a vote for that God of War console.
Yeah, it is. I don't care. Yeah.
Determination to conquer all my ambitions, despite all the conditions. In light of my past decisions, made it to this position, and so my disposition